feelings was a prank.
I wouldn't put it past history for it to be labelled as a prank in the history books, but you know, we can't be defining of that. Hello and welcome to Crabby D&D. I am here with Cat.
Hang on.
Hang on. Okay. Damian.
Hello?
Kay.
No, right now.
Lloyd.
No.
Romulus.
Unfortunately not.
And Vinny. Who has actually gone be right back. Okay. Vinny will return to us at some point in the near future. But hello and welcome. Yes. Oh, no announcements, that's fine. I am here with all my players today, which is wonderful. And we will be carrying on from where we left off, I believe would be a good way of putting it. So, are you all sitting comfortably?
No.
Food.
I.e., devour the food.
Okay. So, they finally escaped. Out of the woods, so to say. Regardless of what actually happened, our party of adventurers, Kat, Damian, Kay, Lloyd, Romulus and Vinny, have set up camp after a devilishly hatched plan made by Vinny to lead a false trail away from the escaping party, providing enough time for the whole group to escape the forest, and in turn, the cyclopses. Watching the cook be butchered by some greater creature, possibly pertaining to Rassoth, a deity or great being, who Lloyd is currently seeking, the party decided that Romulus and Brass needed immediate attention, but could not brave the oncoming storm, so the party hunkered down in an abandoned, partially collapsed mineshaft, not too far from the forest, but far enough to have been a good place to sleep. With some light fortifications and some rather interesting watches, including the abandonment of a 12-year-old Centaur, being put on watch on her own where she couldn't see in the dark, the party now waked a cat having made them breakfast. Reluctantly, the party consumed the food and prepared for the journey back to the Starsight Camp. With less rain falling now from the storm passing by, a thick layer of fog cloaks the mountains, making it harder to navigate. As you each gather your things, packing up the tents and pulling your cloaks over yourselves to shield you from the wet and cold, you notice that Brass doesn't seem to have anything to cover himself, bar the rags he is still wearing from the previous day. The cold doesn't seem to have set in too badly given he was in a tent last night, but he still doesn't look very well. Physically and potentially mentally. He looks very exhausted still. As those of you who are typically scouting ahead, mainly Kay and sometimes Romulus, you otherwise take in the heavy fog that is still setting into the divots and rests along the slopes of the mountainside, creating a blanket of obscurity, preventing your senses of smell and sight to a certain degree. Romulus, you feel a tightness in your chest. It begins to hurt badly, and where the stake had otherwise pierced you, and you know that the toxins from the previous day probably did it no favour. You feel the strain as you stand and begin to look over the horizon. Kay, what were you going to do?
Sorry, no, forgot to be awake. That was my bad.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm gonna give Brass my cloak.
I was thinking of giving him mine, but mine's too small.
Fair.
Yes, I do have a spare set of clothes that I can lend him.
Yeah,
That'll do.
I could give us some fine clothes. About that.
Okay. You
My
pass your...
organs feel itchy.
You
I could
pass
also
your
cover him
cloak-
in 50 foot of hempen rope.
No. You
Just
pass...
make Brass Michelin man.
You pass your cloak over to him, Vinny, otherwise placing the cloak around him. Thank you. So we're setting out then, heading back.
That is the plan.
I'll try not to slow you down too much.
Yeah, we can't treat those crystals here, so we've got to get back as soon as possible.
No.
Right.
How are the ones on you?
Fine, actually. Seems like they shriveled up during the night.
They
I think I
have.
got lucky.
They've almost completely disappeared. There's like ever so slight signs of them existing. That's good. I don't seem to have been so lucky. I feel quite drained still.
Listen, don't worry. We're gonna get you out of here.
We'll make it back. We'll make it back to camp. Right. Onwards.
Onwards.
Yeah.
Okay. Who is going to guide back to camp?
I can give it a
Can also
shot.
try.
Okay.
Do you want to assist? As we both know at least where the door is. We could both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are notably you are 2 days of travel away from it.
Okay.
So you've got away. It's just making your way back. Keep in mind you are also currently in heavy fog, so you'll be suffering disadvantage on these rolls. So helping will set it at a normal roll.
You want to take it or do I take it?
Do you want to take it?
Sure.
Okay. Do you want to? Is it single roll that you're making from the assistants?
I'd assume so.
Yeah,
Or
I
you
think so.
wanna do your own roll?
Okay.
Yeah.
Second. Is this a survival or
This will be survival, yeah.
the hell? Hold on.
What have you done? to your
1 hour
character sheet?
compilation of Casper the Friendly Ghost that started playing on my YouTube for a second.
Hmm.
I
I
like
started hearing some background. I was like, hold up.
That ain't right.
Folk music. Oh wow.
Do I have inspiration? Checked on my thing. Did I use it? Like I can't remember if I used it last session or not.
I don't.
Is it ticked on your character sheet?
It's ticked on my character sheet, but I have a remembrance of like using it at some point.
Do you have the typical problem of not unticking it when you use your inspiration?
I do it on my overlay page usually.
Is it ticked
and
on
it's
your overlay?
ticked there. Yeah.
If it's ticked on your overlay, then that's fine.
Okay.
Then I'd assume you'd have it.
Yeah.
Do it then.
Don't think anybody used one last session. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know.
If you did, then oh well. I gave you inspiration for purposes of undoing the retcon. You can untick it now. Total?
Yeah. 18.
18, okay. Despite the heavy weather, using your eyes and your knowledge of the terrain around you, you recollect the rough way back to the best of your ability, and thus you go for it. Leading the party through the various mountains and otherwise not necessarily down into the heavy fog, but using the edge of it as a method to try and gauge where you're supposed to be going. Whose turn is it to roll me a d20 today?
Let's see. I believe I was the last one to go for it, so it should be Vinny.
Okay.
Yep.
Vinny, if you'd like to give me a d20 roll, then
No
please.
pressure, Simon. We don't need an encounter.
I'll bear that in mind.
15. Go ahead and roll me a d8, please.
Uh oh.
Is this for how many free puppies we get?
Yes.
Ah,
Yay!
yay!
I never said whether they'll be alive or undead, but you know.
Eight free puppies.
Hey, live or dead, I love them just the same.
Okay.
They
Romulus be
taste
like,
well.
"This
They
is an
taste
absolute
tasty,
win."
yeah.
Okay.
That's about
Alright,
right.
that's
I love
nice.
me some good bone broth.
That's an 8. Okay. Okay, noted. As you are traveling through the mountains as best you can, being guided the direction that you are headed, is there anything you'd like to do?
I'm just keeping watch best I can through the fog.
Yep. Given the heavy fog, go ahead and give me a perception check with disadvantage, please. And if anybody else either wishes to assist or otherwise do your own roll, go ahead and do so as well.
I will do it.
No, that's a nat one.
I'm Yeah, I'm doing the survival, so I can't really.
No.
I guess. I don't know.
I guess I actually, yeah, I can't
What,
quite.
what is it? What is we
Uh,
rolling?
perception.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah, I'll give Kay a hand then.
Okay.
Uh,
So,
advantage
take the
or-
leftmost die. As is the. So that would still be the natural one.
dang it.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it didn't really help.
Yeah.
You're
I
welcome.
mean, I could. You know what? You know what? No.
If you were fast enough to swap the dice, it could have helped.
What, while I was scrolled out and elsewhere? You got no inspiration?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's more like
16. Okay.
That-
Total.
That is a total of. That's a 30, 20.
Dirty 20. Okay. As you are traveling through the mountains in this particular region, you're keeping an eye out on the local area, and you note something which is particularly strange. Looks to be rocks following you.
Well, hello, Greg.
Does this
You
look
said
like...
Rick or Rock?
They're rocks, by the looks of it. You can't discern what they might otherwise be, but suspicious.
ROC, right?
I personally think that they are great. But
mean-
they're a rock.
We have previously seen Grick, so is there any chance of advantage on determining whether or not it is a Grick?
I'll say make me a nature check, and I'll say with advantage if in the event that this could very well be a Grick.
Alright.
And just succeeding here and it not being a Grick will let you know that it is not a Grick. It won't necessarily tell you what it is.
Is that
Am I
me
rolling
or-
this, or is someone who's
That
actually
that will
intelligent?
be. I'll say, Kay, if you wish to let the party know, then that will be up to you. Otherwise, you may roll it yourself.
Is it nature?
Mhm.
I mean, I guess I'll let them know. Yeah. I mean, I'm keeping watch for the party, so sure.
Okay.
Somebody else can do it if they wish. If not,
Okay.
I can do it. I don't mind.
I mean, I'm good with nature, so I can have a look. What is it? Just a flat roll?
It would
Nature,
be.
yeah?
It would be with advantage because they could very well be Gricks, but you don't know.
Okay.
And just succeeding
it.
on this, and they're not Gricks, will tell you that.
So that is 21.
Okay. These do not seem to be Gricks. Their exterior is far more craggy in nature. More like small pieces of stone.
Their rocks are more rocky.
They're rocky rocks. I don't think they're Greeks. They look more rocky.
Are you continuing to move or are you stopping to make these
Um,
checks?
Continuing, because that would be a
We
bad
just hear one
idea
yell,
to stop.
Yeah. They're moving towards us specifically.
Seemingly.
following.
They're following, however.
Damian is fishing around in his backpack for the pipe and tobacco pouch that you can remember.
How far away are these rocks?
Given the heavy mist, it's hard to get a good distance because at the moment they're pretty much just silhouettes. It's very difficult to tell. But you'd probably guess about maybe 30 to 60 feet, but it's difficult to tell.
How many?
At the moment, you can just see maybe 2 or 3.
We should be fine if anything happens. The 3 of them, so we keep going. Hopefully, please. I don't want to
Okay.
stop. This mountain is dangerous. I don't like it.
Yeah, I think we continue.
Yeah, same.
Okay,
Yeah,
we'll keep going.
Now that we know they're there, we'll keep an eye on them.
Damian, please. Or, not Damian. Vinny, please go ahead and roll me a second d8, please.
Oh, let's go.
That's a 5.
Okay. As you are otherwise wandering, you notice something just up ahead. I'll say this will be Kay. You'll notice this is you're the one keeping watch. As you're being led through the pathway with Lloyd leading the way, you can see what seems to be a light, a colour within the mist, creating this almost weird barrier where the light from the interior is reflecting off the tiny water droplets and disrupting your vision from seeing beyond, but it's kind of this light orange tint. It's a little bit further down into the mountain cleft, but you can see it.
Alright. I don't know if we want to mess with it.
You are still being followed as well.
Alright, well, I'm not too particularly worried about what's following us. What I'd like to do is I just remembered that I have regained my swarm.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to have my swarm of rats spread out, and if they see anything, to squeak.
Okay.
Follow us.
How far are you spreading them out?
Like just beyond the range of which I can see.
Okay. And by squeak, you mean they audibly squeak?
Yes, they audibly squeak because there's no telepathy with this, so
Yeah.
they have to audibly squeak for me to know anything.
So as they spread out in a circle around you, around your party, the rats kind of begin to disperse, and as they do begin to reach further back towards your pursuers, there is a moment where your pursuers pause for a moment, move forward, and then you begin to note rats going missing, but they are squeaking. They squeak and then they die.
Alright, well, I'm not having more rats take their spaces. The rats are just gonna stay where they are, but it's good to know that they will attack if something gets close.
A few moments later, as you continue walking at your current slowed pace, the forms stop following you. But you only see them disappear in the mist. Or the fog, I should say.
Alright, then.
No, it would be mist because fog comes in from the sea. So yeah, it will be mist.
If I can't see them anymore, then I am a little worried, so I will then again have rats fill in the missing spaces.
Okay. The rats that went closer to the light source, they do also squeak, but there doesn't seem to be any immediate reaction or anything as your party is walking past.
Let's fucking go!
Yes, indeed. Let us go.
Yeah.
Are you continuing on then?
Go Power Rangers.
Go, go, Power Rangers. Sorry.
I mean, I've done what I'd like to do. I don't know if anybody else has anything they want to do.
Does anybody else want to do anything? No?
Just focus
stop
on not falling
following us?
over.
Yeah, the forms behind you seem to have stopped following, and the only thing is kind of a light off to the side, lower down in the mountain cleft.
Damian's fumbling about, trying to work out what to do with the pipe.
Okay.
Why do you need a pipe?
It comes with wisdom. He's gonna be a captain of a ship one day, maybe.
Oh, quick thing. Because we had a long rest, I'm going to make my little treats, mostly to get the taste of cat's cooking out of my mouth.
Wow.
So myself
It was
and
good.
myself and Vinny are going to enjoy the treats this time.
Oh, and as a general note, yes, you have all recovered from a long rest. Everyone will regain the 2 hit die that they were otherwise, if they had them expended, and they haven't restored those already, with the exception of Vinny, who spent some as a result of resisting the blood crystals.
Vinny, have 2 temporary hit points.
Oh, thank you.
I think it's 2. I'm pretty sure it's 2.
So, you continue on the rest of your way in your journey.
Yes.
As you continue on, you eventually reach a point where the darkness is beginning to set and the mist is beginning to become thicker. as the sunlight that was previously attempting to burn it away has failed to do so. Yet it is still raining. If someone would like to make me a herald a check of some form to otherwise find a camp out location.
I can do that.
Okay.
I did it last time. I'll give it another shot.
Okay, what kind of campsite are you looking for, and what skill would you like to attempt?
Something that provides a bit of shelter. So whether it's got maybe sort of a bit of shelter, some rocks around it, like a little natural.
Natural alcove or
Yeah,
something.
natural alcove, or maybe a natural dip
Alcove.
bowl within the mountains, something like that.
Can I assist with this by having my rats look for the same kind of thing to give him some help?
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll allow that. So go ahead and make me a survival check, please. It'll just be a flat roll because of the disadvantage from the heavy mist.
That is a 13.
13. With the rat's help and a few false calls, as you have to explain to the rats that a place to sleep, like a hole, isn't necessarily rat-sized. A crack in the ground isn't a place you can all hide. And after a few false alarms and having to explain this to them, using rat, you eventually find what seems to be a relatively sheltered area. It's a small alcove or a dip which may have once been a natural spring, but has either been diverted or something else, you're not entirely sure. But used to be kind of this old pool of water at the base of this mountain. You can see kind of the old lines where there has been natural erosion before it's begin to kind of roll back in and fill in where the old stream would have been. It's an interesting sight, but it seems secure enough.
Okay. I guess I'm helping set up a tent. My tent.
So, you all set up your tents for the night as best you can. Given this is a harder surface to set up the tents properly, I would like 2 people to herald survival checks who are not Damian or Kay.
I can.
Okay.
If anyone wants to help out. Either by rolling themselves or...
I will help by giving advantage.
Okay, I will.
I need 2 separate people to make checks, so...
Oh, 2 separate people.
Yeah,
Okay.
'cause 2 tents. I'll allow the
I'll
advantage
make
from
one
Cat,
of them
though.
then.
Okay. And Vinny, were you going to? Or...
I can, yeah.
Yeah, okay, go ahead. Pick up and drop. And Vinny? Okay. Total for you there, Lloyd?
21.
21. And Vinny?
5.
5 total, okay. The 2 of you set up your tents. One is more significantly set up. It's in a wind-sheltered area a bit more. It's easier to set up, but for you, Vinny, you find that you don't have the constitution or the strength to drive the pegs into the stone below. It's becoming more difficult, and the tent doesn't stay upright.
Can I decide to, or can I help him out with evening out the ground with set the foundation?
Okay. In which case, Vinny, if you'd like to go ahead and make me that a re-roll of that, please. Taking the higher of the 2.
Perfect.
So,
Yeah, it doesn't really help,
5 still.
unfortunately.
No, you even out the ground, but stone is still stone.
Yeah.
It's difficult to set up the tent pegs in such a way that you're going to be able to set up the tent in a stable location when you're trying to drive it into solid stone. They weren't quite built for this. You found a location which was a bit less windswept, so it was easier to kind of pitch it and stop it from toppling with the wind, but Vinny's having a harder time. DC has gone up if someone else has an idea and wishes to attempt something.
Sure. If I didn't do the advantage thing, I will try. But I'm gonna use mold earth to make little slots so I can put the pegs in.
Okay, go ahead and make
That's
me...
a distressingly clever use of mold earth.
I know, it's great. Make me
I don't
a...
have to roll there.
Can I give assistance by having the little rats hold the peg?
Hold the pegs. I'll say in this instance, with finding the site and helping Damian find the site, Lloyd, otherwise setting up his tent, using set the foundations to even out the ground, and as Vinny tries to drive the peg in, it's a bit difficult. And as a group effort, with you all pitching in your own way, Romulus utilizing his strength, Cat using mold earth, Rats holding the pegs are driven in and set as the second tent is set up.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Teamwork.
One tent went up easily, the second one a bit more difficult, but everybody pitched in.
See, you know what made it easy for Cat? See, if Cat was swinging the hammer, the reason why it was so easy is because she was aiming for the rats but missed.
If I was swinging the hammer, it would probably be Vinny that got hit. I'm dangerous with these things.
Dangerous with actual physical weaponry. Alright. Okay. So you all otherwise begin to bed down for the night. Who are taking what watches? Romulus, remember you're unable to participate in watches at the moment because you need your full rest.
I go to bed. Bye.
Yep.
Bye.
Right.
As does
We need to
Brass.
make sure. We need to
Okay.
ensure that the people who have night vision do a watch on their own, and then make sure there's two
Yes.
others.
That's what I was gonna say. Because I have dark vision, I will take a watch on my own.
Right. Have we got two other dark vision people?
I don't have.
I'm
the
blind as
only other
shit.
one.
Well, you're asleep, Romulus.
So
I
I
have-
can team
I-
up with someone, but
I have
So
lots of eyes, but not dark vision. So
Vinny can do a watch with somebody, and then the other two have to just hope
you
that they
don't
can.
have dark vision, right?
Yeah, no, I don't. So
Lloyd,
we
you
were
do
going to
have
have
quite high
a
perception,
watch.
though, right?
Huh?
Lloyd, you do have quite high perception, though, right?
Yes, I can
Given
see
your
very
abilities.
well, but it's not in the dark.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're better off with. Yeah, we're better. We're still going to be okay in
Yeah.
theory with two people who can't see in the dark, because at least that's like four dice rather than two.
I can take first watch because it's still. Or
I mean, technically, it's still poor dice for everybody, because
True.
I don't think this fog's going away for a bit.
Even with dark vision, you will still have disadvantage. It's just that because there will be no source of light, unless you're choosing to light something, it just means that the DC won't be as high as for those who. Well, actually, no, they would actually get. So for those who don't have dark vision, when it gets absolutely dark with the mist setting in, you won't be able to see. You'll be relying on hearing, which means you're making it with disadvantage, and the DC will be quite high. But those with, I mean, regardless, first, second, and third watch will all be the same sort of thing. But then those who have dark vision will be able to use their eyes, so they'll have disadvantage, but the DC won't be as high.
right. Well, I have lots of eyes, but not many ears.
I have ears.
I think we all have the same amount of ears.
That's good.
I think so.
You
too.
don't know.
Yeah,
It's
so-
just
True.
one of our groups have bigger ears than the rest.
Kay
Who are you
has
calling big ears?
5
I mean-
ears.
A bit mean to Damian, isn't it?
Kay has many ears.
Is that
They
why
have
I've got
many
the
ears.
longer hair to cover over my big ears? Keep them warm.
Now,
Alright, so how are we splitting up? Kay takes it
Um,
on its own.
Does somebody want to take
I'll
the
be
first
taking
watch on
the
their
last
own?
watch.
Alright, Kay can
Okay.
take the first watch on his own then. And then.
Wait, I'm taking the
Wait,
first
hang
watch.
on.
Oh,
Alright.
wait, you said last or I can. I
Yeah,
can
he
take-
wants to take the last.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I usually take the last watch.
Okay, you can
So-
take last one. Me and Damian will take first one.
okay,
Just
so
be
it'll
a
be
little
Cat
bit
and
on the
Vinny.
left.
I'll take middle watch.
That'll be
okay?
me and Vinny.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so as you all begin to go to sleep with only 2 tents for your party, and with the addition of Brass to your party, making it a little bit more difficult, who is going to be sleeping rough?
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead and make me a Constitution saving throw, please, with advantage because this is something that you are used to.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye on him when I get up. If he looks in really bad shape,
Yeah.
I'll attempt to do something.
Kay seems to be fine. He's used to sleeping rough, and he curls up and covers himself in rats for insulation. He's fine. So, first watch, Damian and Lloyd. With the two of you on watch, is there anything you wish to do?
I'm gonna try and use this pipe, and I'm gonna. Lloyd, Do you have
Yes.
any experience with tobacco pipes?
I've seen them being used. Why?
That could be helpful.
Why do you need help with them?
I've never used one before.
You have a smoke,
No, I haven't smoked before.
and you want to try now.
Yeah.
Any reason?
Might make the watch go by a little calmer.
Sure. You put the tobacco here.
Gets a little. Has he got like a little spoon or anything? Or is he just gonna be
Uh,
using his fingers?
I have a piece of parchment. No, I don't have anything.
What could I use? Oh, I've got a mess kit. There'll be something in the mess kit. So I'll use a little spoon in the mess kit and spoon out a little bit of tobacco and put it into the bowl of the pipe.
Okay, so you do that. You take a little bit. You put it in. You put it into the pipe.
Then you light here, and then you smoke.
Gets tinderbox,
Okay.
lights the bowl,
Okay.
and okay, and I got to make sure I breathe this in. He's like,
I'll
this
say
is something I haven't done before.
make me a d20 check, please.
Just as a warning whilst I'm rolling this dice, don't try this at home, kids. Even in real life, let alone in D&D. It's a 5.
Dang it, it wasn't in that one.
5. As you go to attempt to light it, it takes some time. Given the mist, the wet weather, and you're kind of trying to light it as best you can, it doesn't seem to be catching very well. It seems as though your pack has become a little bit damp, given the recent weather and the events that have transpired recently. The leaf is in decent quality, but it's gonna take some time to light. Do you wish to continue, or do you give up?
I'm going to give it a shot. I've never done this before. This might just be how it happens.
Okay. You keep trying and keep trying and keep trying, and eventually it does light. And as it does catch, you breathe it in. Go ahead and roll me another d20.
That one, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one.
It explodes in your lungs. No, that's a 10.
10. Okay. You breathe it in. The immediate kind of... The immediate hit of it is like, it's not relaxing. It's a very violent kind of burning sensation in your lungs in that immediate moment. And you kind of feel off-put by it as you begin to rasp and cough in this instant. Otherwise, taking the pipe as best you can, just coughing in that moment, taking it away from your mouth, as you feel almost lightly dizzy in the head.
Lloyd, this doesn't seem quite as it should, I don't think.
I never suggested you should do it if it's...
Bit lightheaded. This is weird.
Yeah, that's usually how it goes. Yeah, I'm gonna assume that's like 5 years off of your lifespan.
Just from one single smoke. Damian is put off by this, and he tries to tamp it out.
Tamp it out?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Tap the tobacco out of the pipe.
Oh, tap it out. I heard tamp, T-A-M-P, and I was like, what does that mean? Okay, no, tap the tobacco. Okay, you take it and you otherwise bash the top off. The still slightly lit pieces of leaf otherwise fall out, crumbling to the floor, and with the wet weather are quickly swept away by the wind and put out as they disappear into the mist.
Now I need to make a meat.
Well,
I must
okay.
go make people need me.
I'm not doing that again.
Bad experience?
That was that wasn't fun.
Right, if you're done with that, maybe you should start listening. I can't see shit out here.
Well, I suppose
Where did you even get that?
from the beneath the old distillery. It was in somebody's personal effects within their chest.
Right. You didn't even get it disinfected?
Not sure how we do that with tobacco or a pipe. I mean, I probably.
Did you clean the pipe?
Yeah. Damian's unsure about this. He can't really remember.
You didn't, no.
No.
Yeah, God knows what's been smoked in there.
Yeah, maybe one of the gods knows.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend doing it again.
There's a clap of thunder as a god face palms.
We know which one that will be.
Well, when
How
we
are
get
you
back,
holding up after this cyclops endeavor?
when we get back, I'll go to oh, now I've got to find the name of the place. Cool, I've got to go back so many sessions since we were in there. Gansey's Brews and Tinctures. I'll go there and I'll ask if he knows what on earth this is. I don't want it. If it's legal, then he can have it. Otherwise, we can destroy it.
Pipe? Or the tobacco?
Both. If both are legal.
I mean,
I'm pretty sure they're legal.
Tobacco's legal in this world, yeah.
It had no effect on me though, so I assume it was tobacco.
I hope it is.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it might be more than 5 years.
So, Lloyd, this creature that you saw in the in the forest,
It was, yes, it was chasing the ogre.
and it had
Cyclops.
it had some kind of what was it? Was it
Huh?
anything special about it?
The creature?
Yeah, was there anything special about this creature? I mean, did it attack? I gather it attacked one of the
The
cyclopses.
ogre, the Cyclops was bloodied all over. He just dragged it by its leg back into the forest.
Oh. Well, I'm glad we got out of there when we did then, because we wouldn't have wanted to fight that. Those centipedes are bad enough.
Yeah, I had a bad feeling when we were in there.
Oh.
Might have been the deity that helped me, warning me, I guess, in a way. Still don't know how it's connected.
Do you reckon this might be... Is this related to where you want to go? Where
Yeah.
you said you wanted to go?
I mean, the amulet it was wearing the symbol belongs to the god that I'm trying to find.
Wait, you're trying to find a god?
Well, it's a god, right, Chris?
It's
Higher being, I guess.
It's a higher being, yes.
Yeah.
Beings of great power also fall under
Yeah.
pantheons. So in this instance, there's more to it than just it's a god. It could be a great being, it could just be a relevant higher power. Yeah, there's a lot to it.
It's a higher being. Might not be. I don't know how it would be classed.
And are you sort of devoted to this being?
Well,
or...
when I when I was in prison, it lent me its power,
Oh,
and I wanted to find out why.
so you reckon you might have been favoured by it?
Yeah,
Yeah, that would be peculiar. Would Damien have ever sort of read or heard of anything like this before?
I'd say you'd know of to a certain degree. Go ahead and roll me a religion check for more specific information. But I'd say you have heard of clerics, and I mean, you in particular are a paladin of an order which follows a more baseline faith.
Yeah. That will be religion, did you say?
Yes.
That's an 18.
18. You've heard of individuals generating or gaining spontaneous favour with a particular deity. Usually in cases where that happens, it's the individual has received a gift from the deity for one reason or another. An old pact, maybe a inheritance that they gained when one of their family members died, maybe from killing a rival of that particular deity, or maybe killing someone and then being the replacement to who they just killed. There are strange circumstances where that takes place. But all of these are just hypotheticals. There's not really too much evidence outside of someone being devoted to someone of receiving the power outside of that. In your case, your magic comes from your natural study of your order, the understanding of law, and therefore following a pantheon, a group of gods that work in tandem to follow and uphold a law or structure of some form. But that doesn't pertain to a particular deity. It holds to a wide variety. That's probably the most non-deity base that you know of. Gaining power from a deity usually incites the understanding of a pact. Meaning that, in some way or another, Lloyd owes them. But if what Lloyd has said is true, he's gained power spontaneously. There was no insight into him seeking this power. There was no debt to be paid. Which is peculiar.
That is very odd. And was the guy that we met in Monolith when we had to go there, was he anything to do with this, or was that something else?
no, he's just an old friend who helped me.
Oh, okay.
He was the doctor.
Right, so he has nothing to do with this deity.
No,
Huh.
he helped me gather information,
Ah,
bringing me books.
things to help you. Oh, I got the word.
Well, I'm not sure actually, because they
Sort of to help you.
they recognized a sentence that came out when I had the power.
They recognised the say what?
When I was lent the power at that moment, a sentence came to me and I just spoke it out, and they seemed to recognize it.
Oh, so you were always like possessed by this deity when the deity lent you the power?
Well, I had the choice of whether saying it or not, so I wasn't controlled. It's just
Ah, I see. It was put into your mind as to, and
Yes.
then you chose whether
Yes.
to say it. Peculiar. Well, I'm more than happy to help you find answers for that, because that is interesting, to say the least.
I'll
And could come
say
useful.
with that higher religion check as well, you are fairly certain you've not heard the name that Lloyd mentioned previously, Rassoff. You're fairly certain you've not heard that name before. Suggesting that it's either an older deity, one that's typically not well worshipped and is therefore potentially esoteric or contraband knowledge. It's not a respected and well understood one and therefore rejected. Or potentially it's new. But it's one that you've not heard of before.
Yes, I'm more than happy to help you find answers about this, Lloyd. Definitely, because I'm.
yes, I was told of a forest that is in the south. and I want to get there at some point.
But you don't think it's the one that we went through?
No, it's far south.
Much further south. It's
Yeah.
further south than Zaker's Crossing?
Yes, it's like here somewhere.
Huh.
If you looked at the bigger map.
Interesting.
Right?
Bigger
Is
map?
it around here?
It's around here, if not
Oh, here,
further.
okay. I thought it was more left.
No, the forest in question that you've been told about is in this general area.
Yeah, this general.
It's
area.
a huge stretch of land right near the polar cap. So
yeah,
you've got
and
quite
that
a
was
ways
sort
to
of
go.
a small town there. If
I vaguely
Once I open
recollect
my mouth.
you mentioning that now, before we came to Trendle's Rest, yes.
yes,
Well, yeah,
The town
I
in
mean-
question, I believe you were told about.
I don't.
Yeah. Tell me which one it is in your notes, because it could be a town or a city, if it's depending on which it
Oh,
would.
I think it's a small town.
Chevelboon?
At least that's what I remember. I'm opening my notepad is taking long to load.
That's
A
odd.
very demanding application, I remember.
have to break
Mhm.
the seal, unroll the scroll, then slightly unroll it and unroll it in a different direction.
Mhm.
Oh wait, that's the wrong scroll.
There's some pieces missing where Kay has eaten it.
No.
Some words have got smudged due to the rain over the last few days.
Mhm.
There's some slime over some other words.
I like
Probably
a
also from
when it
Kay.
loads. X City, yes.
Just a quick question. Did anybody check if in the last podcast or last video that went up on Twitch if it had audio?
No.
Could
No,
you
I
quickly
didn't
check
look.
for me?
So the forest is
let's see.
called Winter's Grove, Icefang Citadel, and Chevelboon, yeah.
Yeah, Chevelbourne. Yeah, it's the small town there.
How's that spelled?
Chevel apostrophe boon.
CHEVEL apostrophe
Yes.
BUUN. Okay, that's good. Yeah, because I forgot to hit the record
Cool.
button this time, so I need to download it. That was a mistake.
Hmm. Well, yeah, I mean, we're headed at the moment in that direction. I'd be more than happy to accompany you if...
I mean, I assume at some point we're gonna go down there.
Oh, I'd hope so. I mean, I don't know...
Yeah, I don't know where. You said you were hunting
I'm
your old friend.
Yeah, I've got to find him, and the Plague Knight Commander told me that they were heading towards Saker's Crossing, most likely.
Did
So
they commit?
got to head
any-
down there. But I've got to go
Are
to
they
the Flame
criminal,
God.
or why are you
Uh,
looking at it? I can't remember.
I've got to look for information at the Flame Guard garrison, and there should be some letters waiting for me there, I hope, because they never went to Trendle's Rest.
No, I mean the individual.
Oh, the individual?
Yes.
Where he went?
No, why are you looking for him?
Oh, he attacked some of my my fellow knights.
Ah.
There's a personal element because he one of the knights was my brother.
I see. Would make sense.
So he was a good friend of mine. This night, and he was acting completely out of character for himself. So I want to know why he would do this. So I want to find him.
Well, I'll help you to the best of my ability on that.
Thank
Do you have a name?
Leo. His name is Leo Chip.
Leo Chip. That's 2 words, correct?
Mhm.
Yeah. It. I haven't had a. No, I can't speak about it tonight. I can't speak more.
That's I guess we should roll the perception checks.
We should
Yep.
listen
Go
out.
ahead and roll me perception checks, please.
Disadvantage.
Disadvantage on each of you.
Ugh. Oh,
Oh, sorry, that was a 9. That's my fault.
yeah, that was a 9.
That's fine. So that was a 9. Okay, so totals we had 9
16.
plus 16 and
14.
14. Okay. You have the light conversation. With the darkness that's set in, you're unable to see very far, but notably, you do still manage to feel comfortable in the night. There is the occasional sound of movement, the occasional rock falling, a little bit of rain, but nothing out of the ordinary. Nothing that would cause any issues for you. The two of you swap your rests and your watches, moving on to Cat and Vinny. So, Cat and Vinny, you begin your watch.
My healing room.
Mhm.
Does that hurt when I use it? I obviously I've spoken to people as I've used it, but has anyone actually conveyed that they hurt when it hits?
You asking me?
In general,
Yeah,
I think.
in general, yeah. Just
Hey,
in
Vinny.
general, what would be my understanding of this?
I'd say you understand there's an element of shock to it. A damaging spell that then hits and heals is questionable. You're not entirely sure.
Vinny, you know when I used my healing rune on you? At some point, maybe.
Yes, I
Yeah.
believe I remember.
Did it sting? Did it hurt at all?
I don't think I remember it hurting at all. Although it was a pretty tense situation.
True.
It was during the fight, I believe, with that dragon.
Yeah.
So,
No, yeah, fair. Just gonna look over Romulus. Do I? No, I won't. I won't disturb his
Am I
sleep.
awake at this point or still?
No, you're,
Oh, no,
you're
you're
still
asleep.
asleep.
In that case, you just hear the wheeziest and loudest snore in existence.
how's
All right.
how's his recovery going?
Not too great. He needs really to get medical help. I'm gonna go over to him and actually have a look. I'm not gonna touch because I don't want to disturb him. But like from what I can see, how are the bandages around the opening and stuff?
The bandages, they've been covered by the cloak all day, so they haven't gotten wet and damp, but they are still damp. The air, plus the fact that he has been potentially bleeding and that his body has been oozing poison, has left a mark. It's potentially going to be going foul, and you're going to be dealing with infection soon. There has been healing that has been dealt with from your party members. However, today has been a stressful day trying to get back as soon as possible, and attentions were used elsewhere, shall we say, held in precaution for what might happen during the night. Keeping you all alive is better than rushing Romulus' healing and then dying.
True. Okay, you know what? I mean, it's only going to be for a couple of minutes. I am going to kind of groggily wake Romulus up, tell him to sit up. I need to change his bandages.
Okay.
Oh, if you're going to do that, do you have anything to clean the wound with?
I'm gonna try and get Tula to help with that, and then I'm gonna cast a healing magic to try and help, because,
Fair.
you know, I've got to look after him. He's all I've got. Well, I've
That's
got you
very
lot
true.
now as well. So,
That's
yeah.
true, but you have to keep an eye out for your family.
I'm gonna
I'll-
wake up
I'll-
Romulus.
Hold the fort here while you're doing that.
Thank you.
Damian, make me a perception check, and Cat, you begin to wake up Romulus. It doesn't take too much. Romulus, as much as he is a heavy sleeper, you know how to wake him up, and given that he is in,
Do you
to a
mean
certain
Vinny?
degree, pain...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, what?
Just flat perception, or?
Oh yeah, flat.
You-
This will be disadvantage where the DC is lower.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, Cat, you'll be doing. Cat will be waking up. Romulus, sorry.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. You keep your eyes out as best you can, Vinny. It's difficult to see. Pitch black, and it is difficult to see. You can see a little bit off, but you can't see anything beyond too far. The mist is still interceding and making it difficult to see in this darkness. Speaking of, I would like Romulus to go ahead and roll me a d20, please.
I roll a d20?
Yes, please.
Oh no. It is a perfectly average 10.
Okay. Cat otherwise wakes you up. You wake up with not too much of a start. Not too loud to wake up the rest of the party, but enough to sit up. In this instance, there is a little bit of pain as Cat is currently kind of helping you up to a certain degree, kneeling down beside you.
It'll take a couple of minutes. I'm going to change your bandages. It's been been a little while. So I'm going to use my dagger and cut off the bandages that are currently on.
Maybe also, if you can, send some healing magic my way. I think that'll help.
That's my plan, but I want to make sure it's all cleaned up first.
Alright.
Okay.
I hold out my jar of honey. It has antibacterial properties.
Okay.
I'm going to go back to bed now.
Just daze that up.
I fall asleep sitting up.
Okay. I'll use mold earth to kind of build like a pillar behind him to hold him up.
Inside the tent?
Oh dear. No, don't we sleep under a tarp? We set up.
No, you have a tent.
We actually have a tent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have a big
I've got
tent.
a tent.
All right then.
Yeah, you have
no,
a bigger
I don't.
tent.
I don't cast mold earth because that'll end up a disaster.
Okay.
Brown sheet.
Yeah, supporting Romulus as best you can. You begin to tie the bandages on. Go ahead and make me a medicine check, please.
I'm going to use Tula to clean the wound first. Make sure everything's all cleaned up and put some honey on it.
Romulus, roll me a Constitution saving throw, as this is soap going into a dangerous and painful wound. Okay. You
So
find
23.
sleep doesn't take you. Pain of unconsciousness happens, and you let it take you. You are now asleep, despite being soap-sudsed, and in any case, anybody else would be in agony.
Okay. So that's... Right. It was a medicine check?
Yes, please.
That is a 10.
Okay. You're used to tying bandages. You look at his wound, and there's a moment of, like, holding back a, like, painful stomach-turning feeling, as you can see that where the outside of his wound had previously begun to seal up due to the healing magic that had been put in play and the strings are in place, you can see that bits of that has broken down and gone black. Some form of infection, something worse, has set in, potentially due to the poison. But the bandages for now will stop anything else from getting in. So you wrap the bandages, and you hope for the best.
I'm going to cast Chaos Bolt with the heal rune.
Okay. So go ahead and roll me the...
Second level.
Okay, so 2d8 and 2d6, please. Okay. 16 halved to 8, so that is 8 additional points of overhealing. Okay, I will note that down. I need that in my session introduction. Okay, 8 additional points of overhealing. Okay.
Then I'm going to let him lay down and I will go back out to Vinny and...
Okay.
Well, back out to Vinny.
You go back up to Vinny, who's currently keeping watch, looking around. You don't seem to see anything or hear anything outside of the light rain and the mist that's otherwise crept in.
Did it go okay?
Yeah, I think it's getting infected, but I've done what I can. He gave me some honey to put on it, and I've re-wrapped it up. So, hopefully we can get some help at the camp. Got to do the best we can here with what we've got.
At the very least, it should be warm and dry.
Mm-hmm. That's it. That's it. Seen much?
Nope, I haven't seen anything.
I'm gonna try and have a very hasty look, like literally just a hasty look. I'm not thing.
Mm-hmm. You have a quick
I-
look out and around. Nothing catches your attention.
I mean, it's dark.
Hmm.
I don't want to light my horn just in case there is something out there. You know,
It is giving off a slight glow, but it's not going to be enough
Yeah.
to be visible by any means.
no.
Hmm. I mean, I can see in the dark, and I still can't really see through this mist. So,
Oh,
if there is something hunting us, unless it's got a good sense of hearing, it's probably having just as hard a time finding us as we are seeing it.
yeah, it's true. Well, I mean, the fact that nothing's here yet is a good thing. But then we could always find new friends. I mean, found one last night. That was fun.
Yes, that was strange.
I know. I wish he had a name. I don't even know what to call him. Just friend. I have a lot of friends. Sanchania's my friend. Jeff's my friend. Tula's my friend. You're all my friends. I have a lot of friends now.
That's fair. You do seem to have a talent for meeting them.
Well, you have to say hello first. Some people feel a bit nervous about saying hello first, so if you go over and say hello, surprisingly a lot of people like to say hello back.
Hey, I wanna snoop.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Okay, I want you to imagine though that on one side Snoop Dogg, on the other side it is in fact Martha Stewart.
Eddie.
But, I mean, me and Romulus met in a tower. I run straight into him. I was being attacked by rats. Story of my life. You know the king rat that we come across?
Mhm.
Yeah, it was him I was
Oh,
running from. He
Yes,
mugged
you
me.
mentioned you'd run into him before. Mugged you?
Yeah, well, I was having a sleep. You know, found somewhere safe that was dry and then as I woke up, it stole all of my food. So I went down into the basement and there were some of my rations on the floor and I walked into the room and he was there in his box and he just screamed at me and I was like, oh my god! I panicked and then more rats come out of nowhere and I just try and run away, run up the stairs and straight into Romulus, who then squashed some of the rats and then cooked them and told me how he likes to use their claws for needles and stuff. But I tried to bury some of them. And I did.
Actually, it's not just the claws, the teeth also work. Did you know they grow constantly throughout their life?
I guess it's just a good thing the first person you ran into was big enough to not be trampled.
well, well, I guess so. I guess that could have been bad. I might have hurt someone. But I didn't know anyone was in there. He just kind of appeared. I was only down there for like 5-10 minutes. But, yeah. We fixed the tower. So, that's something. And told the town that we fixed the tower. And the mayor was like, oh, maybe we'll use it for something. I was like, oh, no worries. We're happy to help. And then we started heading here. And met you lot. So,
Fair enough.
yeah.
Out of interest, were you in Trenwell's Rest for any particular reason? I mean, it's not the kind of
No.
place that people normally just pop into. What with?
We kind of,
disease?
well, we were going south. It was literally a case of we just popped in. I mean, they said about the plague, so we were like, okay, well, we have masks, so we'll be safe. And so, oh, okay, cool. So we're only planning on staying there, and then we're going to leave the following day. But then everything happened, and
Yes.
you know the rest. But no, we were just going south because neither of us wanted to go north. So I don't think we had a grand plan. We found mysterious creatures. That's when we joined the guild. Yes,
Catalogus
right.
Guild?
that's it. The Catalogers
Yep.
Guild.
So, did you just sort of stumble into that then?
What, the Catalogers Guild?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, not far off. We kind of stumble into a lot of everything. We do it really well, though. Like, we're so
Well.
cool.
I can't criticize. I'm the same way.
That's cool. You're cool. Oh, I'll go it. How do you keep your hair so clean? Like, this is a nightmare.
There's no great secret, really. It's just luck.
Oh. Well, you're lucky. Mine's... Yeah, if I didn't have Tula, it'd just be an absolute nightmare. I mean, my mum used to keep it all plaited for me, but... It's kind of hard to plait my own hair. I don't know if Romulus's big meaty fingers would be able to do it. They're not delicate. But it's fine. Just tie it back.
You just have to brush it at every opportunity you get.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you stop to sit down for 10 minutes, be brushing while you're keeping watch or resting or whatever.
Okay.
That's
right.
the rule. If you have an opportunity to groom yourself, do so.
Noted. I will
if
make
you're,
sure.
If you're out in the
I groom.
wild for a long time, and you really need to stay clean, every little bit adds up.
Okay.
Particularly if you need to be scouting out forests or sewers for guard patrols or whatever. Just hypothetically.
Guard patrol? Why would guards be patrolling in the sewer?
If the sewer leads into anything valuable. Again,
Or
hypothetically.
Oh, okay.
the sewer guard is a very important job.
Romulus is asleep.
Okay, look.
He will not remember any of this rambling.
Oh, that's fine. The sewer guard. Yes, the greatest and most noble profession.
The greatest.
Ensuring the poop deck is kept clean and clear.
I don't find this slightly weird that Romulus always seems to have a response, even when he's asleep. It's always been a bit unsettling sometimes. It's like you're never truly alone. He's always watching, even when he's not watching.
He sleeps with his eyes open.
Cue it theme!
Hey, Romulus, if you want to take College of Dreams Bard as a subclass, I'll allow it.
Okay, no, purely because that's the worst combo of classes ever. Secondly,
You have 9 charisma.
I haven't been able to do much for the last 2 sessions because I've been asleep.
I know.
So
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a rare talent. I heard a story of a dwarf who could do that once.
Alright,
Oh,
listen here, you
really?
little shit.
I've never heard of this. It must be a unique skill. Huh. Well, so what brought you anyway? I mean, is there a reason why you and Kay were traveling this direction?
To Trenlosaurus specifically, just for work, really.
Oh.
The caravan I was with was taking goods that way. Although,
Okay.
I do actually have some business down south this direction. I was following a friend of mine who I lost track of.
No. There's nothing worse than losing friends. What did he look like? How can we find him? Do you know where he is? Where he might be?
Huh? What was terrible about it, Jamie?
Eh?
Just ignore it. Carry on.
Okay, never mind. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she was in Zeka's Crossing, at least recently. And I think I just missed her in Paloon. So, I'm almost certain this is the way she came.
Oh.
Yes, if you do ever see a big silver dragonborn, pretty tough looking, quite quiet, but friendly enough. Once you get to know her.
Okay. What's her name? Does she have a name?
Carvin.
Okay. How do you even...
Carvin with a K.
Oh. Okay, that's such a strange name, but I mean, if they come from somewhere else, it kind of makes sense. You know, I'm not going to know every name. But if I ever see one, I'll make sure to say hello and ask them if they know Vinny. Just nods.
Yeah, that'll probably be fine.
Mm-hmm. And I'll also point out to you, there could be Curvin. And, yeah. My god. No, it's been an adventure so far. And I'm glad you stuck with us, and Kay, though I want to know where he's got all these rats from. Is he doing it out of spite? I don't like rats.
I don't think so. He's... I'm going to be honest, Kay is a good friend of mine. I don't fully understand all of his abilities. I don't really know the most about magic in general. I mean, my magic is pretty trial and error, to be honest. I'm not really a scholar.
Ah. Well, I mean, I kind of was. I learned from reading books, but then I lost my magic. Then I got new magic, and then my magic then went a bit weird and wonky, and then it went to rune magic. So, I've had lots of magic.
How does that happen? Is that a common occurrence?
Not that I've ever been told, but something happened and I couldn't use my magic anymore. I met Cychania, and now I can cast through Cychania, and then the runes are now somehow tied to this, I think? I'm not too sure. And then I've got this wild magic that keeps going off, which is alright, but you never know when it's going to happen. Just hope it doesn't hurt someone one day. And I can't control it.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Sometimes it's difficult, really. You don't realize how much of an effect you're having on other people until suddenly it all goes wrong.
It was fine. I learnt my magic. Romulus helped, sort of. He also tried to teach me to use an axe. It didn't go well.
Oh, really?
It was really heavy. Well, he was like, "Cat, you need to learn life skills, otherwise you'll never survive in the wild." And I was like, "But it's so heavy." And I tried chopping a bit of wood, and he said, "Keep trying." And it's like, "I don't want to. This is really heavy. Can't you do it?" It's like, "No, I won't always be here." And it's like, but we didn't manage to get through the wood.
Practice is the fastest path to achievement.
See, now you sound like him. Does everyone just adopt Romulus? Like, he is very strong, and I understand why everyone would want to be him, because he's also incredibly wise. Like, he has an answer to everything. Even things he doesn't understand, he has an answer, but he's very cryptic about with his answer. As if, like, he doesn't know, but he's just pulling the bluff. I don't know. He's a very wise man.
There is a trick to that, to sounding like you're saying more than you actually are.
Okay. What's the trick?
Oh, sorry, a magician never reveals his secrets. But don't worry, I'm sure you'll pick it up.
If a magician never reveals their secrets, how do you get new magicians?
Cloning.
Osmosis.
It makes perfect sense now. Okay, goes back to sleep.
It is actually quite scary.
Yeah, I'm not sure he's fully asleep at the moment, to be honest.
Regurgitation.
No. I mean, I'm waiting for a time when I want something, and I'm just gonna be like, Romulus, can I have it? And he'll be like, no. And I'll be like, please, if I do this, and he'll say yes, and hopefully he won't remember in the morning saying that I've got to do something. But I can turn around and say, but you did say yes last night, and he might believe me, or he might not.
Well,
He's very
I mean,
good.
that sounds unlikely, but if it does happen, I'll try and back you up.
Yeah, and so will Cychania, won't you? Just looks down at Cychania.
So Chania just looks back at you, and then just
Use
looks
one
at
finger
Vinny,
to make
and
a
then just
nod.
kind of, she recoils, like kind of pulling the head of the Cychania back, and it just shakes her head left to right.
Traitor.
There's her head back down on your back of your hand.
Okay, maybe she doesn't always have my back, but she has it when I need it.
That's a question. How did you two meet? You and Sachania.
An accident? Kind of just met. I found her in an old building. Yeah.
Fair enough. It's just not every day you meet a sentient magical chain.
It's true, she's special, but it was a special situation, I guess. Just looking down. Yeah, special situation. But that's okay, because we've got each other now.
Cat's trying to hide something here.
Roll me an insight check. And Cat, roll me a persuasion or deception check of your choice. You do not have to reveal which.
Okay. I'm probably not doing a very good job of this, because... Yeah.
Not a great roll. It's a 12.
Okay. Single roll for Cat.
Let's go. That is -2. That's 11.
-2.
Uh.
You should have a plus.
Oh right, no, it isn't. It is a 2.
Yeah. You're used to rook.
Yeah, no.
You're used to that number being a minus.
Yeah, no, it's 2. So it's
15.
15.
I'll say. Actually, no, Cat. How would you describe this to Vinny?
Well, I mean, to be honest, she's probably doing a really bad thing. I mean, so she's currently looking down, sort of like looking at Sachania, sort of got her arm crossed, probably her bandaged arm underneath her normal arm, and you can't see her eyes at the moment. Her hair's kind of covering the one normal one that you can see, the one that you can normally see. It is here, Cat. Take a deep breath. Just sort of like rubs with the top of her arm, her face, and her hair back. Like, yeah, it's fine. But we're friends, so you know we've got each other, and now I've got Romulus, so it's all okay.
Well, as long as you're getting along.
100%. I won't let anyone hurt. He means everything. And so do all of you. We're all kind of family now. Even if it's just temporarily. I would hate to see you lot leave. I like you all.
Well, I like you all too. And even if even though it hasn't been very long and may or may not last that much longer, I've been glad of the time I've been able to spend with you.
Likewise. I've got so much to learn from, like, everyone. And Kay included, even though have you seen the sandwiches he makes? They're so weird. I need to ask him what they're about, but it's kind of the situation where you don't go over and go, oh, excuse me, why are you eating carcass in your sandwich? And other bits. It just, I don't understand, and I don't want to judge him, because I mean, like, I like more vegetable stuff and sweet stuff, where Romulus likes more meaty stuff. So maybe that's just Kay's preference, and I don't want to judge him, but the stuff that he's eating is weird. So I do need to ask him about it.
Yeah, no, it is. Kay's stomach seems to operate on different rules to the rest of the universe. I don't fully understand it, but he seems fine. He seems to like it, so...
Yeah, I mean, he seems fun. I mean, yeah, okay, maybe he made me jump in that box. Maybe I now have issues with boxes. Because, you know, if he's not around and there's a box, he's probably going to jump out at me from it. But I like him. I'd be lost without him, even if he has now got hordes of rats. Why rats? But he has them, so that's cool. Dear me. But no, well, it's nice actually, you know, sitting down and talk to you. I don't think I've ever actually sat down and talked to you yet, have I?
No, I don't think so. I've been meaning to talk to you more, really.
Same. I mean, it's nice to talk and get to know people. I mean, I've only really spoken to Damian, and that's a little bit. I showed him some magic and things. I know Romulus well. Lloyd, I kind of need to apologise for poking him in all of his eyes, but I was curious, so I kind of need to sit down and talk to him. I really want to talk to Kay and find out what is with the sandwiches and why is KK. Yeah, I just need to sit down and talk to people and stuff, so it seems these watches are a good idea to do it.
Yes, well, especially since there's almost certainly nothing out there. I mean, again, I can't see anything, so...
Neither can I, just wince. No, I can't. It's dark. So, drugs. I tried the other night too. That guy approached me. He was a good guy. I liked him. Right. I guess it should be coming up to time to wake Kay up, shouldn't it? I want some sleep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, the two of you bed down, passing the watch over to Kay. Kay, you're on the watch on your own. The night has set in with the mist in place, and what little of the day is coming. What would you like to do?
First things first. That technically concludes my long rest, right?
Yes.
So I can make my roll?
Yeah, go ahead. It's a...
Should be a D12?
It's the charisma save. Well, no. Charisma or con save first. I think it was con save.
Alright.
Okay, so that would have been a fail, so that's just 1d12, yeah.
12. 11.
Okay. Over the course of this long rest, as you otherwise get up, you peel the bandages away from your arms and you get a look where the bruising once was, and you can see there is some kind of mild scarring where this has happened. But you look at your arm and you flex your fingers. They feel a little bit tingly still with pins and needles, but they're otherwise okay. Your effect of the bruising has vanished, and you are now able to regain temporary hit points.
Yeah, I can feel my arms again. Well, I technically don't have much to do. Um, actually, I want to try something. After they go into their respective tents and it seems like they have gone to sleep, I want to try and get Cychania's attention.
Okay. Okay. How do you intend to do this?
I'm going to go to the entrance of hers and Romulus's tent,
Okay.
and I'm just going to slightly whisper, enough to where I'm not making too much noise, but enough to where we can hear on the inside of it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to ask, Cychania, if you can hear me, can I ask you something?
Cychania's head lifts, kind of moving to a kind of slanted posture, looking at you.
You are your own individual, correct?
Cychania twists left and right.
But you understand things that we don't?
Nods.
When the thing showed up last night in the cave, do you know what it meant when it was talking about seeing the... What exactly did he say?
Seeing magic is what you interpreted it as, but otherwise seeing them was the specifics that was said.
Do you know what he meant but when he said seeing them?
Twists left and right.
Your saints suck ass, you know that?
Last question. Are you friend to us all or just her?
Cychania hesitates. And then shakes head. But then stops and nods.
Thank you. And Kay is going to just go and sit and contemplate. Contemplate and try to see if he can get an understanding of what the thing meant by seeing them.
Okay. Begins to contemplate as best he can. Go ahead and roll me a perception check with disadvantage. DC is obviously lower because you have dark vision, but the mist is still in effect.
Well, it could have been a good one, but perception. I don't know why it's taking a bit to load. That is a 12.
12. As you're otherwise sat there keeping a watch as best you can, You don't see or hear anything that catches your attention. The rats otherwise aiding you as best they can in the significance of the area. Nothing comes or goes. But you do begin to hear as the rain slowly stops. And as the beginning of the day brings about, the clouds part and the blaring sunlight beams down in its various rays and begins to puncture holes in the mist as it begins to lightly dissipate across the horizon. That's where we're going to take a break. So, we'll be back here in a few minutes. For those who need to, go grab drinks, go grab food. We'll be back in just a mo. Don't go anywhere.
Be allowed to be conscious.
Romulus will be allowed to be conscious,
He's
and
about
then you
to
have,
wake up.
and then you have one more day of travel.
Hooray.
Yeah. All right,
Day
go
of
back.
travel.
Right.
Give me. It's no stretch.
Hello?
No.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Hello.
Did it crash for everyone?
Did it crash?
Yeah, I got disconnected.
Oh,
Everybody else is still in here.
Okay, that's fine.
Honestly, I'm glad I got surprised from you, Mr. Chris,
Surprise?
for going to speak to Citania.
Got surprised from me? What? I'm confused.
In your voice, it sounded like you were a little bit surprised.
To a certain degree, yeah. To a certain degree, it's not something I'd expected you to
Yeah,
do by any means. But...
Not fully surprised, but just
not
a little bit surprised.
taken aback surprise, but. Alright, who are we missing still? Still missing a Harlan as he's muted. We're missing a Unicorn Jamie. Yep. And we're missing an Infernal and Vinny as well.
I'm here.
Oh, Infernal's here. Okay.
Yes, we are missing a Vinny.
And we are missing a Vinny. Okay. Okay.
Right, I'm back.
Mm-hmm.
I have returned.
Welcome back.
You have returned. Is Infernal travelling to a neighbouring country for his food?
I don't know.
No,
He's still here.
I'm wondering.
Yeah, Infernal's here.
Here.
Harlan went to go fetch new spices.
New spices, because a certain centaur used them all.
No, I deny it.
Not all of them.
Not all of them. I left him at least some and his honey.
There's maybe a pinch of
Yeah.
each.
Yeah,
A pinch of honey. Ooh.
We're still
not the
waiting on
honey. The
Vinny
honey
and
was a
Harlan.
pain to cook with.
Or Vinny and Romulus still.
That's fine. Ah, while Romulus is not here, while he sleeps, I'm going to smother him.
I'm pretty sure he'd make every con save you put against him.
Titania's going to smother him. She might be stronger than me. I'm not sure.
Wow.
I mean, heck, a rock is probably stronger than me, and not the bird.
Not the birds.
I mean, rocks have gravity.
Rocks fall and everyone dies. Yep.
No.
In fact, Kay's rats might have higher strength than me.
Just
No.
put a rat in his mouth while he's sleeping.
I highly doubt that my rats have more strength.
I don't
I
know.
highly doubt it.
If you put a
Like-
rat in his mouth while he's sleeping, you turn around and you just proceed to hear crunching noises.
Yeah, you would.
Oh,
No,
God.
I'd say, like, from body mass to strength ratio, the rats might actually be stronger than cat.
Well, I mean, maybe, but their total strength of the whole swarm.
What's your
Actually, they might have the same strength as you.
What is your strength? Their strength?
8.
Yeah, it's the same as me. I have the strength of a rat.
A swarm of rats.
Right, I have the strength
A
of
single
swarm of
rat
rats.
has the strength of 2. A swarm of rats has the strength of 8.
Okay, I have the strength of a swarm of rats. Still
It's
smarter
okay.
than them.
It's okay. The swarm of rats have a collective intelligence of more than behold.
Wow.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
What happened?
Oh, just discussing Behold. Vinny!
Yeah.
People using gaggage and bondage of Romulus.
So,
Just
I
smothering.
seem to keep getting onto that subject for some reason.
I didn't agree to it.
all of
It was
you,
non-consensual, yeah.
all of you recover from a long rest
Yes.
Do I
appropriately.
get anything?
Vinny, I would like you to go ahead and roll me a Constitution saving throw, please.
Okay.
I would like to apply 8 to everyone.
Huh? Oh, age.
You want to
sorry.
apply aid?
8.
Cool. I've cast mage armor.
Constitution save. That's a +2. So, is it?
12?
Yeah, 12.
Okay. You just succeed and your crystals are gone.
But I'd like to say before everyone starts waking up, Kay will be checking in on Brass to see how he's doing in
Are
the
you
night.
Are you waking him up or are you just checking on
No,
him?
I'm
medically
just
while he's
checking on
sleeping?
him while he's sleeping.
Okay. Go ahead and make me a medicine check, please.
Who was sleeping rough in this last part of
Me.
the watch? No, last part of the watch, because there's still going to be 5 people trying to go into 4 spaces and tents.
Yeah, there'd actually be 6, so 2 people would be sleeping rough, which would probably be Vinny and Lloyd. But given it was only for a short while, it's not a big deal. Kay had to do it for a good
So is Brass in
majority
my
of the
tent
rest.
then?
No, Brass is Romulus.
Maybe.
Oh, so Cat's in my tent.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, total K?
That is a total of 13.
13. You look at the crystals. Some have gotten bigger. Others, or more importantly, some of the larger ones, have gotten smaller. And they're fluctuating in size, meaning that his body is fighting with itself, but it is still pacifying whatever effect seems to be taking place. His body is, however, growing cold.
He's bought us some time, though.
Yes, he's bought himself some time, it would seem, but he's going cold. And by the looks of it, as you otherwise kind of give him a general inspection over, you place your hand against his forehead, he is burning up, but the rest of him is freezing. He is currently suffering a very high fever. Something else has taken hold. Something besides the crystals, perhaps.
Alright, well, Kay's gonna do a thorough inspection when he wakes up.
Okay.
To try and find out.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me a second medicine check here, then, please. Seeing as you know now a bit more of what you're looking for, and Brass will be awake for this.
That is a 16.
Okay. Talking to Brass, he is a little bit raspy, dry-throated initially, and as he drinks a bit of water, he does kind of cough it up a bit. He's having, from what you can tell, difficulty breathing. And he is very cold, but he has a very hot head, and he complains about having a very nasty headache. He says it's possibly due to the travelling, due to the weather. He may have just caught a cold while he's out in the wild, but it seems very extreme with the nature of what's happened. He's caught something rather nasty.
Well, Kay doesn't know too much about diseases or illnesses, but he at least knows that even though he's bought himself time with the crystals, what he has now is in tandem with the crystals is really not good.
No.
Okay, so we need to focus on getting back.
You are a day's journey away. So you should be able to, if you ended up, instead of going for rest tonight, if you were to go a little bit extra into nightfall, you could get back to Starsight Camp. And you know that they are late sleepers, so most of them will probably be awake at that point as well.
Alright, we'll probably need to do that.
Agreed.
Have we got a Romulus back? I saw his mouse
Romulus
moving.
is
Aha.
returned.
Perfect. So, with that, you gather your things, and you prepare for the next day. Who is leading the check to make it back to Starsight Camp successfully?
I guess that's me and Lloyd again, maybe? I mean, we're definitely going to be needed at the end of
We
this.
seem to be.
Just a quick thing.
Mhm.
Kat, did you end up pumping healing magic into me?
8. I've marked
8.
it down on my...
Okay, as long as you've got it marked down, that's fine.
Yeah, no, I'm
Yeah.
keeping tabs.
Forgot to mention heal.
That's fine. We'll assume that because you were in the mountains and you had no guarantee of getting back, you held on to your magic so that way you wouldn't accidentally get ambushed during the night, and you can make up for it next time.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, we have aid as well, right?
Yes,
we
everyone
have
currently
aid.
has aid at the moment, so everybody has the extra 5 hit points.
Alright.
So,
I'll leave it up to whoever decides they want to. Kay is just gonna focus on making sure that we're not.
What is
Surprised
it
by
for
nothing.
the return? Can I use investigation to see if I can find like landmarks or familiar
Oh,
escaped boulders, etc.?
again? Oh, what?
having issues there, Jamie?
I may have disconnected again from the server.
I mean, your
Oh,
mouse is still moving, so it might just be a lag spike.
Yeah, it must have been big lag spike. So, Lloyd's dice just sort of got stuck as he rolled it. Is it just a single roll?
Oh no,
We don't
Lloyd just
have to-
picks it up, he never started rolling it.
Yeah, I just
Oh,
picked it up and dropped it.
So,
Is it a single roll this time because we don't have?
I will
or-
say, Cat's using investigation to try and find a way home, so then who else would like to do a different check, a survival or something else?
Survival. I'll do survival.
Okay, you do survival and Cat does investigation. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll try and keep an eye out while we're going.
Still 9.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye out then as well.
That is a 20. Dirty
Yeah,
20.
same. 'Cause, yeah.
Okay, so keeping an eye out, roll me perception checks, and if the next person in the queue for rolling a random encounter would like to roll me a d20, please.
That'll be
Romulus.
a Romulus if he's around.
Roll the die, Romulus.
Ooh,
What do we encounter?
15. Again. Okay. Plus or minus 1, Romulus? I'll let you choose. Romulus, you're muted.
Yeah, he might be typing it. He's probably eating his dinner. Food.
Sorry. Yeah, I had something in my mouth. +1.
Plus 1, okay. Okay. And we had a 9 on investigation, and what was the survival? 20?
20, dirty 20.
Okay. With that, you continue on your path to a successful end. What were the perception checks, and by whom?
30, 20.
Yeah, dirty 20 for me as well.
I got an 18.
18. Okay, some good watches, and otherwise keeping an eye out. I'll say, Romulus, do you want to give a survival check just to
See whether I survive.
see what no, to see what happens regarding your party, just to make sure to keep them on course if anything does happen.
6.
6. Okay. With the party doing their respective things in this moment, we're keeping a watch out for something dangerous, as this was the Stone Dragon's territory previously, and as you do continue on the path back towards the Starsight Camp, you do note bodies, gricks, that have been torn apart. Not recently, but you can see kind of pieces of them that have been left. Pieces that have been uncollected, it would seem. A piece that may have been bitten off or damaged due to a claw where it was sheared off of the outside of a grick, and the rest of its body has been dragged away. You can see blood stains that have been mostly washed off for the most part, and kind of these drag marks that lead off a little way, but not for any significant distance. You note, the three of you note and clock the general notion that the dragon may have been here probably after your escape from it. It then went hunting elsewhere and found more food. But you do not currently see it, if it is in this area.
I am sending my rats to collect the gricks.
Okay.
The grick pieces.
Yeah, it's small pieces of where like claws sheared it off, so it's like bits of like loose skin that kind of hang on rocks and stuff.
It can still be used.
So rats go and collect it and bring that back to you. Cat and Damian and Romulus, you are otherwise keeping the path. As Cat and Romulus, you're keeping the path as best you can, but you are noticing the signs of the dragon and begin to kind of become wary of this. While Damian, you know the urgency of what needs to be had, so you find the quickest and the easiest route back. Nothing seems to come into effect immediately, as it would stand. Romulus, go ahead and roll me a d8, please.
Oh, yeah, I love a d8. Do I want high or low? Because I got a 6.
Okay. As you otherwise are travelling and heading towards the Starsight Camp, moving along the pathway that you remember, you watch as a single figure kind of crests the nearby mountain area. You can see the individual seems to be of Tiefling origin from what their silhouette would suggest, wearing basic clothes, looks down and sees brass as he kind of holds a bow and kind of trots down the mountain towards you lot. Non-hostilely so.
Better be non-hostile. If Brass fucking dies now, I'm gonna be so fucking pissed.
Damian's gonna
Wow.
calmly walk towards him to meet him halfway.
Okay.
Well, because I don't know
Yeah.
if it's a male or female.
That's true.
Yeah.
As you otherwise approach, the individual in question pulls back their hood and pulls down a mask, and you can see a kind of a dark-skinned male tiefling, kind of a almost an olive-coloured skin in the light now that you can see it. Kind of deep red-set eyes, curled back horns, a thick tail that otherwise swishes behind them, and cloven hoof feet as they otherwise kind of trot down the side of the mountain towards you. Hail, friends! Looks like you found Brass. You had better luck than I did.
Oh, are you the scout that was sent out a few days back?
Aye, I've been tracking you on your way back. I made it to the pillar and I saw that there was damage done there, so I tried to follow your way back, but got a little lost. Seems like at some point you may have been ahead of me or behind me, and I just got turned around.
Sorry, I should introduce myself. I'm Damian. So what's your name?
Of course. My name is Starsight.
Kay's gonna walk up to this conversation.
Okay.
As in the camp?
No, this camp is the Starsight. I am the Starsight, the singer of stars.
Oh, sorry, I misheard.
No, that's quite alright.
Mountain winds and all.
Yes.
As Kay approaches,
Star smell.
Yeah, it's my cousin. He died. He didn't like the smell of the place.
as
That's
Kay
really
approaches,
sad.
Kind of waves sarcastically. As Cat wouldn't understand. Everybody else does though.
except for Kay.
And Kay, yeah, Kay probably also doesn't understand sarcasm very well.
The troubles I've seen, nobody knows my sorrow.
As Kay walks up to the conversation, sorry to interrupt your conversation, but you really have to get Grass in.
No, that's
He's
quite alright.
not doing well.
That's quite alright. I imagined he wouldn't be in the best position anyway, given what's happened. And your crew, the amount of blood I saw back there, it's probably best. You keep going, I'll guide the way and make sure to have some firelight brought for night. If you keep at the pace you're going, we can get you inside probably just as night falls. And I can get the others set up if that's alright with you.
That would be really helpful, thank you.
Also, he reaches into his pack, and you watch as he pulls out a very disgruntled crystalline parrot. Is this yours?
Kay will take it.
Death!
Kay will take it. Yes, it is hers.
I saw this thing flying over a little ways. I followed it back, and that's how I came back to the pillar. I think I overshot a bit. I ended up seeing this strange bird, and I thought, okay, that's interesting. So I caught it and put it in my bag, and it's got a magical residue which made me think it's a familiar. So I went back the other way, and lo and behold, there's a cyclops camp.
Oh.
So
When you saw the Cyclops camp, were there any Cyclops there?
aye, there was two, and a shorter lady.
A lady?
Yeah, looked human for the most part. Couldn't quite tell. She was all wrapped up. The only thing I saw was kind of this long red nose and kind of almost a knobbly red chin peeking out from her clothing. I kept a white berth, but the big cyclops that was standing next to her was covered in these kind of drenched red crystals. Just kind of growing out of him. It was so kind of weird. And the other one was a little one. It was quite brutal. They killed the little one and then wandered off with the body. They weren't very happy from what I could tell.
It's because we got him, pointing to Brass.
Okay, that doesn't entirely make sense, but I'll go with it for now, so... Yeah.
Guys, do you reckon that was Lady Valek?
Yeah,
Who?
that's what I'm thinking.
Must have been.
Probably.
That one that was covered in the crystals was the leader. We come across 3 Cyclopses. 2, we believe, may have died in the forest in pursuit. But the smaller guy had a spider as a pet, and he obviously must have stayed back at camp in pursuit while the other 2 pursued us. And
Oh.
he's dead too.
Huh.
But they're
It's a
following
long
the
story.
Lady Valek.
It sounds like it's quite complicated, but
We
you
better
know
get
what?
Brass back.
You've got to get.
Mhm.
You got to keep moving. He was walking with you and just goes, "I'll get to the camp and I'll get them all set up. Just look for the firelight in the night. We'll guide you back."
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Starsung.
And you watch as he otherwise begins as he kind of waves his hand through the air
Yeah.
for just a moment and begins to bound away with quite an extensive speed.
Onwards.
Onwards.
Gotta go.
Go, go, go!
Okay. Continuing on your way back, reliably and well, you make it back, and as night begins to fall, you begin to see a torch approaching you. As you watch as Starsung approaches, and you can see with him there are two others, notably. You see the two others seem to be just others that you've seen around the camp. They're kind of relatively bulky, and they put their arm, one of them puts their arm underneath Romulus, kind of this bulky, masculine male tiefling. Kind of a thicker red skin to him, and kind of deep tattoos that are otherwise pushed across his form. Horns that curl forward in a very Minotaur-esque way as he hooks his arm under Romulus and begins to help carry him back. While one of the others, kind of a thicker tiefling in her own right, kind of a darker green skin, kind of helps with the carrying of Brass back. As Starsung holds the torch and leads back towards the entrance and kind of ushers you all in. Alright, that should hopefully be everybody. Get yourselves all patched up, and make sure you go to the tinctures if you need any proper healing.
My god, do I need some proper healing.
Brass otherwise nods and goes, "Thank you, Starsung. Perhaps I can cover any costs that may be needed for what's going on here." And you watch as Starsung otherwise shakes his head. No, that'll be fine. Get everybody in. Gansey will take care of everyone. He's not too worried about this. We've got some spare beds set up for your friends if you need them. You'll be inside, out of the rain and cold if the rain comes back, but you'll be out of the cold and you'll be able to get yourselves all healthy up in no time.
Yeah.
It's greatly appreciated.
You're welcome. Right, you're all led back down into the main courtyard. The tree kind of giving off a light blue glow in this almost light nighttime surreal sense as you all lead over to Gansey's brews and tinctures, where you can see standing outside, pacing backwards and forwards, is Gansey, the otherwise skinny tiefling with kind of a mat of mossy green hair, as he otherwise walks backwards and forwards and kind of sees you all and rushes up and kind of grabs Brass and has a look, just goes, "What am I looking at?"
We know them as blood crystals.
Right. Do they hurt? As he looks at Brass. Not as much as you'd think they would. I seem to be okay. They've gotten smaller, but I don't feel particularly well.
He has a very high fever.
It's
I-
caught something severe or extreme.
It's probably some form of... I'd hesitate to say flu, but it could be worse. I'll give you a full inspection once we get inside. He hesitates looking around your group. Oh, natural 20 on his medicine check. Looks around the rest of you and just goes, "Right, you, Romulus. I'll get you into a bed and we'll take a look at that wound. How long's it been like that?"
2 and a bit days.
3 days.
About 3 days, I'd say.
Right, we're going to get some proper look into that. It's going to be a painful night for you, but we're going to get that properly cleaned out. Which, unfortunately...
Can I come with you? I wish to learn more of medicine. And
By all
I
means.
think-
I'm coming with you. I'm not leaving him.
No, that's fine. You're welcome to come with. Note that it's going to be gruesome, though. I have help from my daughter, and I'm going to ask that you don't get involved. But he leans close to you, Romulus, and says, in a hushed voice so that very few of the party can hear, "We're going to have to scrape out the wound."
Alright, but whatever you scrape out, make sure the very short one doesn't eat any of it, alright?
He nods.
Eat it.
He nods momentarily and goes,
Weird, but trust me, it's necessary.
"Right." He nods and leads you back inside. As you're taken in, so we have Kat and Kay going in with Romulus as he's going to be there. Lloyd, Damian, and Vinny, what are you doing as you're all standing outside the crew, otherwise leading and helping them in. Starsight otherwise stands outside before you watch as he begins to just wander over to the showman Starlight to go and enjoy a beer or something. What do you do?
Are you two guys going to be okay? I'll join you shortly. I think I'd better get you over to the forge and just let. I've got to find another name.
Song.
Song, is it?
Yep.
I better let Song know that Brass is back.
No, that's probably a good idea. I might join you, actually.
Yeah, I'll join you for that
Okay.
as well.
Okay. So we'll start with you three, as you have the less gruesome of this. So you otherwise head over to the Song of Brass Smithy. Stepping up, you can see that the large tents that are the three long kind of large tents that are in place. You can see that the what looks to be the guy ropes holding it down have been kind of readjusted and strengthened, probably due to the winds that they've recently had. But you note that the forge is still burning lightly, but not enough to give off plumes of smoke. It's not being actively used, but it's still in place. As Song seems to be leaning over the table, seeing you lot approach. Before you watch, a Song kind of steps out. Oh, you've returned. Is he alright? Have you found Brass?
We have found him.
Yeah,
He's with Gansey currently. He's
Right.
not well. You might want to see him.
He kind of pauses for a moment, choking on his own words a bit. Thank you. He kind of pauses for a moment. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, all of you. Kind of nods and smiles and awkwardly disengages from the conversation, running over to Gansey's.
What are we gonna do?
Oh, Sudz. That's fine. Thank you.
Lloyd, Vinny, what are we gonna do now? I mean, I guess we better let them be treated.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't have much I can really do to help unless things get very dire.
I've got one last thing to do, but I'd like to do it alone.
That's fair.
But that's it. My end.
Hmm.
I can meet you back where they've prepared the beds. I'm going to look around to see if I can locate them.
The beds in question are in Gansey's Brews and Tinctures. There have been a number of beds set up for your party just to make sure that if anybody was injured, that you'll be able to be monitored overnight. But in this instance where you don't need them for that kind of purpose, you can just use them to sleep in.
Yeah. Okay. I'll join you guys back at Gansey's, where I suppose that's where we're sleeping. If that's okay with both of you.
Fine.
Yes, we'll meet you there. Good luck with whatever it is
Yes, good
you
luck.
have planned.
Thank you.
Hopefully you have some result.
I hope so.
Okay. So, as Lloyd and Vinny head over to Gansey's, what do you do, Damian?
I'm gonna check on my horse.
Okay. Heading over to the stables, where you can see it's kind of just a series of wooden pens that have been set up inside of the cavern wall here, next to the large door, large gateway. You note that there are 3 horses in here currently, 2 of which that you recognise to be yours and Lloyd's. And you can see the stable hand is currently busy, currently just piling up a pile of manure and just throws the pitchfork into it for a moment before turning around, kind of panning off his hands and kind of washing them in a bucket and goes, "Hi, I just saw that you got back. Are you wanting your horses and heading off soon, or?"
I was going to, yes.
Right, I'll fetch the 2 of them for you. I'll
Oh,
get them both sorted.
No, just Starlight.
Just yours. Are your friends coming with? I mean, if you're heading off on your own, that's fine, but just... I'd have thought given your all... Nope, that's fine. I'll go and get Starlight ready for you. Just, did you want me to hand a message on to your friends that you're heading off, or was that what you said to the
No.
others?
Hold back on that.
Okay.
Damian just turns on his heel and walks back out. Sort of
Alright.
in silence.
I'll hold on to them for now then. He kind of shuts back. Good luck. And just kind of turns back around, very, very, very miffed at that encounter. So, turning around and heading back, you head to Gansey's Brews and Tinctures, where you can hear the sounds of your companions. We will see at what state they are in. So, Kay and Kat, you are staying alongside Romulus as this is happening. Brass is the immediate attention, but as the three of you otherwise head inside initially, alongside Brass and the two that are supporting your party, you take note of the individual who you have not met before. You see what looks to be a... Quickly scroll to the correct description. You see what looks to be the daughter of Gansey. You can see that she holds very similar features. Very similar features to her father. She is otherwise a grey-skinned female tiefling, long mossy green hair, smooth features, Minotaur-like long horns, and a otherwise very well-built form, built for travel in a lot of manners. She wears what looks to be a bulky white and blue square patterned dress and a leather apron outfit to the front. You can see a large number of tools that otherwise line along the main apron itself, and you can see she currently wears a set of gloves ready for whatever is to come. As she otherwise looks over, she goes and immediately begins to aid Brass in before sitting him down and beginning to inspect him. Romulus, you are taken to a separate area, separated from this, to a different room that seems to have been maybe once a study, that has currently been outfitted with what looks to be 6 beds that have just been kind of ramshackly pushed in here, but one central bed where you can see that they've pushed the others aside in preparation for you arriving.
Right. I presume you'd like me to lie down then.
For now, if you could just sit upright. I just want to get an examine on what's going on. My daughter will help. Will help in a moment when it comes to the actual procedures. We're going to examine whether you or Brass need the initial attention. You seem like quite a strong lad. Brass, on the other hand, is a bit thin, and you don't seem to have suffered too many ills despite your situation, so it'll probably be Brass we take care of first, but for now, I will need to examine everything that's going on.
Alright. Would you like me to explain exactly what happened as best I remember it?
Of course. Go ahead.
Well, first of all, when attempting to save Brass, a cyclops threw a giant wooden stake through my left lung.
Yes.
Through my left lung. Then, of course, had to wrench that out and keep running. Then attempted some initial triage, a bit of bandaging, and the application of some some minor attempts at cleaning and antibacterial properties on it. This then had to be changed later on. We had to run away into a forest where I got poisoned by just the most annoying little mushroom fuckers. They weren't actually mushrooms, all they were centipedes.
Centipedes, yeah.
Little centipedes. I said little, they were the size of, well, me. I think there was one that was bigger. Anyway, got poisoned by that and had to be running from that point on. Then we got back to a safe camping space, and we had a cleaning dragon clean it out. I know that sounds silly, but it is true. A small little pseudo dragon which is obsessed with cleaning. It got there and made sure everything was nice and clean. And we rebandaged it, of course. that is what happened, right? I'm not going crazy.
Yeah,
Like-
no,
that
is
is
what
pretty
happened.
much it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. This was all whilst large amounts of healing magic and my own vitality were helping to seal the wound with strings of flesh beginning to grow back,
Yeah,
which is
he peels
horrifying description.
he peels it back and begins to look in and goes, I can see that. Right.
Yes. And
Oh, this is... Whatever that poison was, it's taken a nasty effect on your wounds.
yes.
Thankfully, it looks like the cleaning has helped, and it looks like whatever magic your friends have been using on you has helped with the inner core bits that they've set back up. I'm just going to clean out the edges here. So
Alright.
it's not going to be it's not going to be as bad as I thought, but I'm going to try and set up something.
I like to think as a medical
Do
professional,
you-
this guy's just here like, what the fuck?
Do you drink?
I am happy to drink.
Do you have a preferred spirit?
Are we in
I'm,
there?
I'm
with
gonna
him?
make a
Yes.
roll here.
Yeah,
He
go
likes
for it.
tea.
I
That's not a spirit, child, unfortunately.
yes.
If we could get drunk on tea, that would be great.
Hmm.
Oh. Please roll best brandy.
Okay. 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I enjoy a fruit gin.
I'll get you a bottle of gin. You'll need to drink the whole thing. This is gonna get painful.
Fruit gin.
Um,
That sounds nice.
I just look at my size in comparison. You may want to grab 2.
And I know, yes. I'll need multiple. Right. Right. In which case, he kind of looks at the other two and just goes, if you could grab 2 of the large bottles from the back, don't open them, please just wait until I arrive. Before we begin the operation, he's gonna be drinking all of them, so once I give the word, make sure that he otherwise drinks both. Right. He otherwise wanders through, kind of looks at, goes through to the next area, and goes, right, you wanted to watch and learn? Come on. You might have some information that we need. Waving to you, Kay.
Okay. And Kay will follow.
Okay. You wander through, and you can see Brass is currently sat upright, and you can see a number of these large crystals still sticking into him. As you can see, the young girl otherwise turns to her father and goes, well, from what I can tell, they aren't restricting blood flow. Whatever these crystals are, they're just there. The disease that's underlining, on the other hand, seems to be something based on the cold. I think he might have pneumonia. To which you see the expression of Gansey pale. Right. This is going to take some work. Follow me, Kay. He wanders off into a chamber beyond.
I follow.
Okay. Heading into a chamber beyond, you can see where he heads over to a large desk. You can see that around it are a large number of like tiny storage shelves and cabinets. As he goes around and he begins to kind of leaf through, kind of running his finger across what looks to be text on the front of each. As he goes through and you watch as he pulls open a few, pulling out various drugs and pieces, placing them down in various packs in front of him. He goes through and he begins to identify what he needs. He's going to roll this with advantage because he is a professional. Okay. He goes through and he has a look, otherwise proceeding to grab the herbs that he needs and places them in front of him, taking moments to kind of quickly catalogue everything through his mind before beginning to get what looks to be a series of rags. Right. If you would, Kay, please carry through this bundle. Don't worry about if the spices mix, if the herbs mix. We're otherwise going to need to mix them anyway in hot water. I'll go and get that on the boil. You carry those through, give them to Shepherd, and she'll know what to do with them.
Okay. Kay will take it, but as he's taking it, I'm not gonna get too close, but I'd like to see if I can try and tell the difference between the smells of the herbs. I feel like that how Kay would be better at this distinctualizing each type of thing.
Mm-hmm. I'll say go ahead and roll me a Constitution check to identify each of these herbs, or to understand their smell. I will say. Okay. Going through each one, getting a sniff, you understand what each one roughly does as it is beginning to take place. You can see ones which look to be more of kind of a yellowy tinge, ones that look like excuse me, it's a horrible hiccup just then. One that kind of a yellowy tinge, ones of a darker green, kind of darker brown colorations, most of them powders with a few of them being leafed. And as you're going through, kind of getting a general sense of all of them, I would like you to roll me a Constitution saving throw, please, with advantage because it is only a tiny sniff.
Give me 1 sec.
Yep, that's right. Kat, where would you be in all of this, by the way?
With well, I would have gone to make sure Brass was okay, but I'm not leaving Romulus for too long, so I probably would have headed back to Romulus.
Okay, that's fine.
You said with advantage, right?
Yeah. Yeah, easy enough. As you do sniff in some of these, you do feel that some of them are potentially they do have effects on them. To what end, you don't know, but you can definitely begin to pick up on some of the medicinal sides to some of these. As you otherwise wander back in the room, you watch as Shepard otherwise comes over, takes the bag. Thank you. Okay, this should help. This one's probably for the crystals, I imagine. Right. And you watch as she puts it all down, and you watch as she begins to blend it all together in a mortar and pestle, and kind of begins to mix it before adding bits of water and mixing it around. Not bringing it to any heat by any means. Before you watch as Gansey returns with what looks to be a boiled kettle, and pours it into a small bowl next to where Brass is. Brass seems unfazed by this, as he then proceeds to go ahead and pass Brass a bottle of a dark brown liquid. Drink it all. This isn't going to be pleasant, but if you can wash down the taste, or if you ignore it entirely, this will hopefully help. Brass does as he's commands and chugs the bottle. Yes, he's drunk. That is good. That is good, because it means he'll fail the saves coming up. Let's hope you fail, Romulus. When we get there.
He'll fail.
I'm going to be so fucking conscious.
Well, here's the thing: if he doesn't fail, he gets to make the saves. He makes the saves as normal instead of a disadvantage, which means that he's potentially going to be screaming. So we'll see how this goes. So, as he otherwise drinks it down, and they begin to get to work preparing the different ingredients. Gansey otherwise turns to his daughter and goes, "We'll try and deal with the initial effects to try and help with the pneumonia. We need something to heat up his body. We need something to otherwise keep him as it is." Looks to you, UK. We also need to fight off whatever infection may be on the inside, hence why we've chosen these particular ones. These ones will help, these ones will restore him to the best of the ability. Some of these you may recognize as regular ones. How learned are you in the way of plants?
Not really.
Right.
Just picked it up recently. I don't know much.
Okay. So, in this instance, what we're doing is we're draining out a spring bell. Taking the pieces of of the main flour itself, grinding it after having it dried, it's ground down and then re-added with water so that it absorbs the water again, forming these molecules. Forming these almost orbs, or whatever they may be, whatever you want to call them. These are then drunk down and they harden once they hit the areas of infection and begin to absorb it. They will be passed later. That's the painful bit. They're somewhat spongy. Somewhat. So they will hurt. Whereas when mixed with various other herbs, they'll begin to harden, but it'll have an increased effect. Verdant Bloom is very much used in most healing potions. It's a base ingredient, but in combination with Springbell, it will otherwise restore an individual's vitality. Hence why we're doing this in a more tincture form. I'm using some Fire Blossom powder in order to increase the heat level of his body to help him against the pneumonia's effect on his body, and we're then going to leave him in hot water to heat up a bit to hopefully fight off the effect as best as possible. Those are the main things we're going to be doing. As for fighting the crystals, we need to deal with something along a anti-magic's effect. So we're using some Springbell roots, which are typically known to help. The leaves, which are typically used to help against cursed effects. So this will be useful for otherwise unbinding that. We're using some Catacon to restore his body's ability to regenerate itself, but it will make him a bit weak for a short time, so he's going to suffer from illness, but we're hoping to counteract that. We're also using some crutch leaves to help with the flavor of it, as this particular mixture is going to taste quite vile in a lot of ways, and that's just unfortunate. That's how these things go. And we're also going to be using some Crundell petals in order to knock him out.
By the way, Kay's taking notes as he's saying this.
Yeah. The smells that you would have identified because the one you took would have been the Crundell, the crutch leaves, the Springbell leaves, and Catacon.
Okay.
If you want me to go through those again, that's fine. I can go through those.
I'll probably do that after the session just to.
Okay.
I will put them all properly in my notes.
In which case, what I'll do is I'll send them to you here just to. So Springbell leaves, Catacon, crutch leaves, and the last one was Crundell. Crundell petals. Okay, so those are the ones you identify there. As he begins to work, you begin to watch the two of them in tandem working on their individual pieces. Working on boiling the water, adding the necessary petals, mixing it with the other kind of mushed pieces of the Verdant Bloom and the as well as the Flare Blossom. He begins to mix them all together in kind of this mushy paste and begins to then extract what looks to be these almost bead-like gel fashions, and then proceeds to
start drinking now if you're going to.
Oh yeah, well, this is on Brass's side. Yeah, as he begins to give him these gel beads, you watch as he begins to drink them down, and there's a moment where he goes to, in this instance, he makes a disadvantage. Let's see. Okay, so he fails. So he drinks them down, and you watch as he does begin to almost, his body is instinctively trying to retch, before you watch as Gansey covers his mouth and nose, holding them quite tightly, as Brass is attempting to, before his body eventually swallows them, to which Gansey lets him go and hands him a cup of water. There. I know that's going to be unpleasant, but hopefully you want to remember it in the morning. Right. You got that ready yet, Shepherd? I think so. Hopefully the blend is all good. She hands over the blend of the liquid, and he goes, right. Hold still, this is going to be nasty. And he pours it down Brass's throat, where Brass fails again, and this time he doesn't retch. He swallows it quite happily. In this moment, as he otherwise swallows it, you don't know what the taste is like, but the smell is quite iffy. But you immediately watch as there is an immediate reaction to the exterior of his body. As the first bit goes in, there's no immediate effect. As the second drink goes in, you watch as the crystals begin to darken in coloration. as you watch as the red on the exterior of them begins to pull closer to the middle, and the outside of the crystals begins to go a darker, almost black in coloration. Right, so these things are fighting back. Shepard, if you could, take Kay with you and start preparing a second batch of that and make sure that Brass is okay. Who is it who went in with them? Was there anybody else? Or will the rest of you just be showing up now?
We just be showing up now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So-
I would have thought that Song would have already arrived, no?
Song
Me and
would...
Vinny would probably already be.
No, Song went to drink, so yeah, it would be Lloyd and Vinny
Oh.
who would show up at this point.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'd say Lloyd and Vinny, you two arrive, and as you're arriving, you watch as Kay is currently watching. You're standing in the hallway where you can see, Cat off with Romulus, as as Gansey turns around and goes, one of you two, could you come in here and keep an eye on Brass, make sure he doesn't throw up? If he does, grab his mouth and nose. He needs to make sure that he keeps anything that's in his stomach down.
Right you are.
He otherwise wanders, and you watch as Shepard, and you follow Shepard, Kay?
Yeah.
Okay. You head into the back room and begin to prepare the next lot. I would like you to roll a medicine check. I will say this will be using intelligence, and she is going to be using her own medicine check to attempt to assist in this. Okay. So she got an 18, and this will be using your intelligence, so I don't think that changes anything for your stat-wise.
That's a natural 20.
Natural 20. You remember...
That's with the +2 also, so yeah.
So that would be
Hopefully it would be
a
a 27. Right, 20.
Are
wait,
aren't
hold on.
you're
My-
proficient in medicine still?
Proficient in medicine, so it would be, yes, 29.
29. Remembering the exact ones that he went into, remembering them by smell, you go over to the drawers, pull them open, give a quick sniff, and you begin to pack them up in a bundle, where she then scoops up the bundle, and you head back and begin to prepare the next mixture, where you begin to watch and take in how she prepares the bundle. Given the height of the success, it goes fairly easily. Gansey heads into Cat and Romulus at this point. Romulus, or Cat, it's up to you whether you would choose to look, but Romulus's chest is currently bare without the bandages, and the hole is very visible if you wish to look at it.
I was putting honey in it like a day ago, so I'm pretty sure I would have a rough idea of what it looks like.
Okay. Looking at it from the
Just go-
inside, the honey, in this instance, you put it in to try and help, and it seems to have settled on the bottom in kind of a thick residue. The body hasn't absorbed it very well, and you guess that that's probably because the tissue around the wound in the current area is black, insinuating that there has been some form of major infection or something that's taken place, and if the honey has helped, it's just settled.
Poison.
But in this instance, you can see it, but you can see the strands on the inside are very red and pink in coloration, showing that they are new flesh that has formed from the healing. Magical healing is going to be needed for his interior. His exterior, on the other hand, is going to require a little bit more physical touch.
Whoa.
It's disgusting, but I'm just gonna go with the adrenaline of trying to get him going.
As this is happening, Gansey otherwise wanders back in. You can see he has a mask and gloves on. As he says, "Right, I'm going to get my tools ready. Start drinking now."
Damian is going to walk in at literally the wrong moment.
Okay.
I know it.
You-
He's still not here.
Yeah,
I am indeed going to start drinking.
Okay.
Is there like a speed thing I should be aiming for here, or
Drink it as
like-
quick as possible. You need to drink all of it. So, go ahead and roll me a d20. This will be a Constitution saving throw. The DC starts at 15. The next one will be with disadvantage, and the DC will go up to 20 because you are drinking 2 full bottles of spirits. Very quickly.
That is a 20, I'm afraid.
Okay, so that succeeds the first one, and now make a disadvantage roll on the second one. The DC is also 20, so you'd need the lowest roll to be
14 or higher.
Yeah, 14 or higher, and you will retain your consciousness through this.
Oh,
Okay.
thank Christ.
So
Okay,
you,
it's fucking close. I
it was
stress
close. You are drunk, and you do feel you are able to remain conscious, but the drunk nature of this is definitely going to take a lot of the pain off. Which is the main thing. As Gansey returns, he sees you there, Cat, and goes,
Yeah.
You might want to step away from this.
Okay, but if you need any help, I'm gonna help.
By all
Even if it's
means,
just to hold him.
That's fine. If in this instance, it's probably best that he's kept himself.
Okay. And when you're done, I'm gonna use some healing magic to try and help.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just, you know.
Yeah. Moments later, Shepard and Kay walk in. Shepard otherwise walks in with a bucket, and your feeding of the tincture to Brass seems to have worked. Brass, although took it down, is currently being monitored by Vinny, I'll say.
Fancy. Before
Mhm.
you start,
Of course.
I need to reiterate. Don't. I grabbed like the shoulders. Do not let Kay eat any part of me.
Kay is not interested in eating.
Do not. And I pass out.
You pass out.
Well, I'm gonna say like I just flop down like or like just like I am just like I want to rest now.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You're not gonna be able to rest though.
No, you will not. And as you attempt to try and lie down to in any form get even a wink of rest, you begin to know this music's too cheery. You got anything better? Let's try this one. This one probably doesn't. I don't use this one very often, so maybe. You know what? You know what? No, let's just go with. No, this one sounds about right. So, as you are there, Romulus, you begin to feel the initial pain of it all. You are sat upright, and you can feel the pain begin to take hold as it's very faint. And in this instance, I would like you to make me a Constitution saving throw with advantage as you are numbed from the pain.
So I want to roll high on this.
You want to roll high on this one. Okay.
That's 23.
Okay, 23. You grit your teeth, and you can feel the pain beginning to rise as a metallic implement, a scalpel of some form, is put in place and inserted into your skin and begins to cut away the infected tissue around the exterior of the wound. Alcohol and other liquids are applied, and you can immediately begin to feel a burning sensation across the front of it, as whatever this solution is tearing away at whatever infected flesh is here. And it sears, and as you're otherwise gritting your teeth, I'll say, Kat, you're looking away from all of this, and I'll say, Damian or Lloyd, are either of you watching, or are you averting your
Oh, have I
eyes as well?
finally got back?
I'd say you'd be here as this is happening.
I'm
Okay.
watching.
I'm going to
You're
walk
watching.
in and I'm going to just watch and sort of nod, sort of like, if you need assistance, I'm here.
They seem to be hard at work at this point.
Yeah.
As
In that case, I'm probably going to go around and
Yeah.
go around the back.
Yeah, going around in other ways, being with Vinny at this point then.
Yeah.
So, as the two of them work, Shepard holding you there in place, kind of surprisingly strong arms about her as she holds you in place. Despite her size, she holds you in place as best as you do tense and kind of flex to inch away from the pain at times. She holds you in place as he begins to cut away at the tissue. He takes it away and begins to place it in a bucket to one side, but keeps a watchful eye on you, Kay, out of general courtesy of what Romulus asked.
I'm more just paying attention to try and see how he's telling what's not good with between what is not good and what it is good.
Mm-hmm. As he does go over it, you do note that he begins to kind of watch, and his cuts are... At the beginning, you note his cuts are quite deep, and he takes out large sections of it, and then begins to scrape with the edge of the blade, taking away bits of otherwise the darkened flesh that seems to be in place here. It takes a while, and there is a fair amount of blood as this is happening, but he does begin to use some form of padding on the surface of it to pull it away as best he can. As he finishes, Romulus, there's a sigh of relief as he goes, Now for the back. I would like you to roll me another Constitution saving throw, please, with advantage.
Screams internally. I'm trying to roll good on this.
You're trying to roll good. And for curiosity's sake, for the entire party, is anybody creeped out by this? Going to this sort of detail?
No.
No.
Okay.
22.
No, it's okay
Pretty
for me.
good.
And it's fine for Vinny because he's not here.
That's
Yes,
fine.
okay.
Yeah, just making sure nobody's uncomfortable with this.
Yeah.
So
Do you mind if I talk whilst you're doing this? I kind of feel like I need something to do with myself so that I can try
you
and
can-
ignore.
if you can refrain from talking, I can see your lung moving. I don't want to accidentally hit anything. If you shout, I know I've hit something that I shouldn't
You
have.
know what? I'm
so-
just going to start whittling.
Wood chips flying everywhere. Okay. Make me a carpentry tool tech with disadvantage because you're drunk.
There's anything I know about people doing physical craft. Sometimes being drunk helps.
How's the doctor responding to him whittling?
Unfazed.
Okay.
My woodcraft tools. That's well, actually, apparently we've put it in as Constitution at the moment, so that is a +6 to that. So that is a 15.
15? I'd say this is probably... I'd say if you're just whittling wood with no intention of doing fine detail and craft, it would use con. Otherwise, I'd say you'd be using dex if you're trying to fine craft something.
I'm definitely not trying to fine craft right now.
No.
What I'm doing is, I think what I'm trying to do is just make like the roughest little image of a cat. Like very few details, but just the only thing is like the ears, the tail.
The general
and,
shape
like,
and the blob of the cat, yeah. Okay.
The expressions of his feelings.
Yep. Okay. As this is happening, he proceeds with the second section of this. You note, Kay, that there is less infection on the back here. Notably, significantly less, given that the bite took place on the front of Romulus's chest. And as a result, you can see that whatever poison may have reached here is very thin in layers. So instead of cutting it away, he just scrapes it off. Applies more of that liquid, and you can begin to see the otherwise red raw section of his muscle begins to tense, and you watch as it goes a darker red for a moment as the liquid begins to kind of settle, before he takes what looks to be some form of sponge on a stick and begins to kind of pad on the inside with, after putting it into what looks to be boiling water or some form of heated water. He dabs it off and then begins to kind of dab inside to try and remove whatever excess there is. Bits of darkened honey come out, bits of general debris, possible rainwater, stuff that may have got into the bandages just through naturally being there. Some of it does look like a bit of
French
gunk.
cheese in there.
Who knows?
That's mine. I was eating while I was doing the honey. Okay.
Just dip a bit of cheese in. You were just dipping a bit of cheese in the honey and eating it, but then you got the order wrong. So instead of putting the honey in, you put the cheese in instead.
Damn.
Damn. What a waste.
Now I know where that went.
No wonder it didn't work.
As the various bits of just kind of debris are removed, he looks inside and begins to kind of examine the interior. And he goes, right. There's a little bit of inflammation, suggesting a mild infection. The most of it seems to have come from the poison which settled, so it didn't spread. You're lucky on that front. But there is a mild infection on the interior. I can give you a drink and tonic that will help with this, and bandaging it up will be good and helpful. It'll stop debris, but it'll need to be changed on a 3-hour rotation. Hot water advised and a mild balm to keep inflammation down. For the most part, you'll live, but this is going to scar. I can pull the tissue together, but if you've got magical individuals who can heal amongst your party, you might be able to assist in that manner.
Do any of my fellows feel like
Oh,
doing
Cat
a
is
bit of
literally
healing?
charging out of the room and looking for Lloyd. Is Lloyd in the room?
Lloyd was kind of leaning against the doorway, watching,
Okay.
his eyes kind of taking in all the details.
Okay, Cat is literally running over to Lloyd, grabbing Lloyd's hand. Come on, we've got to fix him.
It'll take a while, there's no need to rush. He's going to need bed rest as well to get through this. This is going to be a nasty experience for him, but with the aid of magic, you should recover in, I'll say, 3 days if things go well. Give it some time. Okay. He wanders off. Shepard stays behind to keep an eye. Kay, you are otherwise gestured to come with him.
I follow.
He heads back in past Brass, back into the room, and begins to prepare the next dose of whatever he is preparing for. This time, Romulus. He goes through and goes, right, so in this instance I'm going to quickly have I'm always going to help you through what sort of thing will be useful here. So, we're going to want marsh fern here. This is used to make mud gum. This is a relaxing agent. It will otherwise help his body in general. And we're also going to use moss tongues. We're going to bung up the inside of him using moss tongues, which his body will naturally digest if it gets caught on the inside. They'll decompose and his body can absorb it, but it's also absorb and retain any blood that is lost over the course of the next few days. It will also hopefully help keep his lung hydrated to stop any further damage. We're also going to be mixing a little bit of that with with some tiny bits of winterwind bark, which are going to help keep it chilled in there. We can keep the outside of him hot while keeping the inside of him cool to stop him from being poisoned.
I see. Once again, Kay is just diligently taking down notes on what these things are and how they work.
Yeah. He otherwise goes through and begins to look through as he takes bits and pieces out of each of these, going through, gathering them. And the preparation for these is slightly different. The moss tongues are kind of a spongy, long, just section of moss that would seemingly just hang or slop around as almost like a tentacle in the wild. And you watch as he otherwise as he picks it up and he soaks it in the water where he prepares the winter wind and the marsh fern. As he does, you watch as he goes back into the room with it in kind of a small bucket, and he begins to feed it into Romulus's hole in his chest. There is a strange, almost like squishing motion as he does so. A little bit of liquid seeps out before he covers it with bandages, similarly drenched through that same liquid. This will need to be replaced every now and then. The sponge on the inside will need to be removed after a short while. Repair one from each side, then you can begin to heal, alright? Looks at Lloyd. Understood?
Hello?
Hello.
I understand.
Yes.
Okay. He heads out, prepares another one, comes back, and proceeds to look to you now, Lloyd. Give him a little bit. You'll need to heal him when it's not in there in order for the best results, but if it becomes an emergency, you're welcome to heal him while it's still inside of him. Next rotation will be in 3 hours. Unfortunately, Romulus, this means you'll be getting a mostly sleepless night unless you want us to knock you out. Up to you.
Which would be better for my recovery?
For your recovery, it'd be better if we can get you up over the next few hours and your friends can magically heal you. And then we can just let nature take its course and settle over it on its own. But if you're looking to otherwise get a good night's rest and stop yourself from feeling down for the next few days, it'll be best if we knock you out.
I want to recover as well from this as possible.
Right. In which case...
Yeah.
In which case, we'll wake you up. You'll still be able to get some sleep, but it'll hurt, and there's a chance you might feel a bit off for the next few days after this procedure is completed. Lloyd, if you could stay in the chambers, I will otherwise wake you when the healing is needed to be done. Just for the first one. Then
Wake
I'll let
me
you
up a
sleep.
bit earlier, but because I need to set up.
Very well. Okay. With that, the procedure seems to be completed. Romulus, you feel groggy. Roll me a Constitution saving throw. This will just be a flat roll. This is to see if you fall unconscious after the procedure and just lie down. Higher will keep you awake. So in this instance,
21.
I'll say it's your choice.
Again, like my understanding is staying awake is probably better in terms of my well-being to a degree.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna stay awake. I'd rather feel bad now and be fully back at fighting form later than have, continuous issues.
Yeah. In this instance, the difference is basically you can have the extra healing now to help you recover from this injury, but at the cost of gaining points of exhaustion. Or you can not take the points of exhaustion, but the healing process may take longer depending on what happens.
Okay.
So in other words, you can take out complications by adding points of exhaustion here.
I'd rather take the points of exhaustion.
Okay. So, with that in mind, is there anything you would all like to do in this instance as this has taken place? Shepard and Gansey otherwise proceed to wash off their hands and their clothes before Shepard otherwise nods and to a certain exhausted state begins to go to bed as Gansey...
Is Brass sort of sorted then now as well? As best as they can for the moment.
Looking in on Brass, you can see that Brass is currently sat there upright. You can see that the crystals have gone dark, like completely just black in places. But you can see that his skin has regained some of its colour.
Okay. Because, that's where me and Vinny were.
Okay. Is there anything either of you two would like to do then if you're taking care of Brass during this time?
Is there like a chair or something that
Yeah.
I want to take my armor off for starters anyway.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
I'm happy to wait with him.
And then I'm
Maybe.
happy to sort of take maybe like turns sleeping and keeping with him with Vinny.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
That's
Yeah.
for me.
Okay. So, keeping with Brass. He does fall asleep eventually in a position which is relatively comfortable for him. You do keep an eye. I'd like both of you to roll me medicine or perception checks of your choice.
I will be sleeping next to Romulus on a chair.
Okay,
I'll
that's fine.
go for perception.
And I'll be waking him up.
And that'd be for
I'm
medicine
not great
for
for
me.
medicine, but if it looks like he's getting bad, I can I can bardic inspiration him to help his saves if he's in a bad way, or if he looks like he's in really bad, I can healing word.
Okay.
Stop him for a bit. So this is just seeing how good of a condition he seems to be in.
Okay.
That's
So
what I'm going for here. So 9.
9. The condition, and this is a medicine on your part. Yeah.
18 on my part.
And was exceptional in medicine. Medicine. Okay.
Medicine.
Medicine. The two of you see that color has returned back to him for the most part. Where he was pale, it's very different now, and his body feels warmer, which means that his body is reacting with the medicine in an attempt to fight off whatever's going on the interior regarding the infection. Neither of you were here for the general verdict of what it might have been, but he is beginning to recover, it would seem. The crystals in question, however, seem to be going black, but you notice they are shrinking. Like, you can almost actively see them shrinking. You do also note, I'll say, Damian, you're the only one who really notices this, given the nature of it, nature of your higher role. You can see that a section of the crystal is still red, but it is almost cylindrically natured through the middle of the crystal. Not down the crystal length, but across from one edge to another.
Gotcha.
You were saying, Vinny?
Yes. Did my crystals change color when they were
No.
shrinking at all? Okay.
No, yours just disappeared.
Maybe it's just because they're bigger that they're acting differently. Don't know. Well, I'll keep an eye on them regardless.
Okay. The two of you keeping watches and rotating backs and forwards to make sure Brass is okay. We then, and Kat and Lloyd are otherwise taking care of Romulus. Sudz, or Kay, what would you be doing during this time?
Kay is gonna see if Gansey will patch him up, because Kay did get stabbed by a giant knife.
Oh yeah, that's true. It's just something we
So,
can...
yes.
Yeah. So in this instance, he gives you several stitches. He does seem to note, yes, you are Morben, as he has to otherwise examine it more closely,
Yes.
patches it up, stitches it up. He is unfazed. He proceeds through the stitching process and stitches it up. You've got quite the markings on you. You've been through a lot, I guess.
Yes.
Well, hopefully you're able to learn something from today. Hopefully that knowledge will serve you well in the future. I can't exactly tutor you in medicine overnight, but hopefully you've learned a thing or two about some of the stuff we had. From what Shepard said, you picked up on the first set of ingredients that I prepared fairly quickly. Some interesting skill set there.
I work better with my nose, as you might be able to tell.
Yes, it's impressive. You've got quite a keen sense of smell for these sorts of things. But, I mean, hey, it served you well, and it helped with setting everything up well, so... He otherwise pulls the last one tight, ties it off and cuts it. Alright, I'll make sure that's all okay in the next few days. I'm going to put a little bit of a balm on it to draw out any infection that you may have had. The wound has gone untreated, but your body seems to be pretty good at fighting this stuff off. So, we'll have to see.
Thank you, and thank you for letting me see and learn.
Of course.
I want to be able to help when something happens, but I couldn't help Brass.
That's fine. Brass's condition is very situational, and to a certain degree what I prepared is experimental. I don't know if it's going to work, but seeing as the crystals reacted to it, that's either a good thing or a bad thing. We'll have to see in the morning.
I don't know. All we know about them is that someone took them out of others that were before him.
The strange thing for me is that they go through major arteries, like arteries and veins around the body, but they don't disrupt flow, which means the blood can seemingly go through them.
I think they consume the blood to eat, to grow.
It would explain his frailness and his picking up of a disease so easily. With a lack of blood, that means he's got less for his body to work with to fight against anything like that. It makes sense, but it's a dangerous combination. Do you know what was causing this, these crystals?
Not sure. Where we found him, he was on a tree that was covered by the crystals.
That is concerning.
My friend Vinny, got crystals on him as well, but his went away on their own.
Interesting. He kind of thinks for a moment. Well, I'm glad your friend Vinny has recovered. You get some rest too, okay? Get yourself rested up and prepare. Depending on what happens tomorrow, I'm going to have to work on Romulus again. Might have to stitch him up and make sure that his healing is done properly. Make sure there's no further infection or inflammation. Hopefully it will have gone down a little bit by tomorrow. And when it comes to Brass, we'll have to see what his condition is tomorrow. Sleep well. Well done today.
Thank you. And Kay will rest. Now that he is actually patched up now.
Yeah, you're patched up and you otherwise get some rest. Okay. Sleeping through the event. Cat, you wake up Lloyd during the night. The sponges are removed. Or the moss tongue sponges are removed. The I'm assuming you're going to do prayer of healing there, Lloyd?
Yep.
Are you going to expend as many as you can?
If needed, yeah.
How many are you
I'm
going
als-
to be able to use?
I am able to use. This is not on Unite, right?
Well, you haven't used any spells today. You used Aid twice, but that was it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's the same day as that.
Oh, it's
right?
the same night as this one, yeah.
But then I can use 3/6. I can use 3.
3 uses, so that will be 3. That'll be 3 sets, so that will be 68. So go ahead and roll that, and add your Wisdom modifier 3 times. So that'll be 3d8 or 68 plus 15 here.
I'll also be using the heal rune.
Okay. So that is 23 plus 15, so that will be 38 additional healing. Okay, that's good. That puts him up to 60.
Can also use an Oak Power.
Invoke power. Oh, with the intent to try and get some healing out of
Yes.
it.
The
Okay.
intent to patch him up, yeah.
He got 8 from me.
Ooh, okay, this gets interesting.
That is my last 2 remaining points.
No, that's fine. So this will cast it at 2nd level?
It's first level.
You cast it at 1st level
yeah,
to get the
yeah,
second. Sorry,
yeah,
because it's 2nd
yeah.
level total, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Max level up to.
Up to 2nd, because of the way you're casting this. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I'm just looking through spells depending on where you are here.
Yeah.
Okay. So, in this instance, you kind of reach out your powers to something in the tent to grasp hold of something out there that might give you strength to heal in this moment. And you feel a presence, a strange one, a dark one, yet not evil by any means. You feel in this moment, and I'll say Cat, as you're probably watching him do this, as he stretches out his hand and kind of goes to place it against Romulus. You watch as there is this surge of magic through him, a unknown to you magic. As you watch as from as you watch as from his hand, you watch a small piece of quartz extend out from his palm as he crushes it and holds it, and the sprinkling pieces land on Romulus's Romulus's chest. You watch as you initially react to it, thinking, "What is he doing?" You watch as the small pieces of dust sink in, and you watch as this pale white flesh forms over the wound, sealing it completely, smoothly even, just without the hair of his chest. And you watch as over the course of that time, you watch as it becomes solid and begins to regain colour. And as you pull your hand back, you watch as it sets in, and there's this dark black and red stitching which fills around the circle where the hole was, as it then turns to smoke and dissipates, leaving a seamless shaved hole or shaved disc where there is no hole anymore on the front of Romulus.
How long have you been able to do this? Why? What?
It wasn't me doing it.
Who was it? I'm pretty sure I just saw you doing that.
It's hard to explain. How do I explain it to you?
It could be worse.
I can. I basically send out a request for power for a certain task, and some higher being can decide if they want to help me or not.
And does it have to be what you request? Could that have gone horribly wrong?
It usually does what I request it to do.
Chris has never been that mean yet.
So far.
Well, you know,
This
once you
cat
start getting the
guy's
higher
very-
level castings in wrong places, things
If
go
you
horribly wrong.
remember during the sewer fight, I tried to block the route. It's the exact same thing I did back then.
That goes pale. That could have gone wrong. Oh god. Okay. I'm glad it worked out, but... Oh. Okay. Well,
I think we're
thank
good.
you.
No.
Just gonna give Romulus a hug.
Okay.
Watch over him. Like, a cat isn't sleeping, she's making sure he's okay.
No, that's
So
fine.
I'm fully aware that I'm gonna get a point of exhaustion at the end of this.
No, that's fine. Romulus will as well, because he's had to be woken up and through the process of this, and his bandages having to be replaced. But I'll say you only gain 1 maximum because you won't need it for the second night because of the spell that
A spell which I have no
Lloyd just
clue.
cast. Yeah.
I just cast.
No, you have no idea what it was.
Interesting.
How much gold do you have in your inventory there, Lloyd?
Oh no.
Lloyd
How
casts
how much
spell,
am I being
still
robbed
acting
here?
poison.
Let's see. How much do
I
you have?
have gold or silver or copper?
Gold.
Oh, of a silver?
57?
Okay, lose 25 of that, please.
Shit.
As the spell did have a consume component to it.
I just hate it when
least
upper
I
beings
can
mug
escape.
you.
What was that, Lloyd?
Said at least Romulus is good.
Yeah.
I'll ask you for that money later. No.
I mean, 25 gold for a point of exhaustion. I think all of you would take that off for any time I passed it to you. Oh, excuse me. So, with that, you put some healing in as well in Cat. How much? It's 16 half to 8,
8.
isn't it?
Yeah.
8 healing. Okay. Right, I'll note that down. Romulus is very nearly healed. His recovery is relatively swift and, for the most part, pretty good. As over the next day, we'll say Romulus recovers. But we'll play that out next time, I think. As after all, something could go horribly wrong with Brass. But who can say for sure? Only time will tell. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed, and we will see you next week when we otherwise have more D&D. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.